Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV and welcome to this, the 10th in my series of videos where I reply to your comments. As always, this is going to be, I'm going to go through each of your comments and I'm going to reply to them on this video. So if you have made a comment, please look out for the little tags I'm going to put in the comments box, just notices to let you know that I've replied to your comments. I'll put them after the comment. As always, there'll be a timestamp on them. I mean, I've decided to stick with that now. As with the last video, they'll be within the nearest 30 minutes. I think that's fair enough. So just check out the tag that I leave you, the little notice that I leave you in reply to your comment, where your comment will be replied in this particular video at that particular time. I will answer with text to some of these people, because some of them have just left little comments saying, like the video, Ben, thanks very much. I'll just say you're welcome. I'm glad you liked it, things like that. So I'll only sort of do a proper long comments on this video to where I consider it necessary. Right, so we'll begin with The Afterlife, a reply to Stefan Molyneux. And this is a comment by somebody who's just waiting for the video to come up. Right, and bear with me. This is Tayamada21, and Tayamada21 says, as Nichiren explained many centuries ago, our life force, our soul or spirit, is a universe and contains everything that has ever existed, exists now with our apparent life. This is a pretty long comment here, so I'm just going to skip through some of it. This is probably how you saw your girlfriend's dad. Your closeness to her allowed you to tap in and share some of her personal info through the electromagnetic reality that joins us and all ours together. This is also how some people know what another is thinking or saying. I mean, that's interesting. I know that's true. I mean, that's something I've noticed myself from my interest in the paranormal. I talked in this video about my own experience of the paranormal, but other people have said something similar. A mother often senses her child is in trouble even though they're separated by oceans. That's true, that's often happened. How even a dog or a cat can sense you're home sometimes. That's right, Rupert Sheldrake did experiments on that, about how some dogs in particular know when their owners are coming home through an extrasensory way. And the list goes on. Yeah, it's in a physical sense we've begun to recognise a deeper part of who we are by discovering the electromagnetic system and using it to communicate through TV and other devices that we've created. This outreaching technology didn't just appear. We discovered the ideas for them from within and then made them into realities. That's interesting, you know, because the television was invented partly through research into psychical matters. John Logie Baird, a Scotsman, an engineer and scientist who invented the television. He was also very interested in psychical research. He was a member of the Scottish Society for Psychical Research, and he worked on electronics, what we today call EVP, or there are various other like white noise type electronic devices for detecting spirits or allowing spirits to communicate. So this carries on. It's a long comment, and I'm sorry I can't read all of these Tayamada. Sorry, this entire comment is too long to read, but I do appreciate what you said here, because it's very, very interesting. So that's Tayamada21. Right, also on The Afterlife, a reply to Stefan Molyneux. Where are we? Yeah, here we go. Just checking the time. Yeah. This is from Steve Trueblue. Oh, there's a whole long it looks like there's a conversation here between Steve Trueblue. Oh, this is, I think I did bring this up in a previous, I think I brought this up in the previous video, my reply video, because there's a very long comment between Knowing Dasein, Steve Trueblue, Daza Star, and it carried on actually, I think it might have carried on after, because this is a video that I uploaded before the previous comments reply video. Okay, so this one is Tony Kenner. Now Tony Kenner, this is on the Afterlife video, and it's Tony Kenner. Now Tony Kenner is someone who actually I know from HPANWO TV, sorry, from HPANWO radio, and I think he's a bit of a skeptic. But anyway, where are we here? Let's see if we can find him. I think he's deleted his comment. Okay, but what he says here, he says, a little patronising, Steve, if I'm being frank, purely because your point is that I'm wrong or unaware and need to learn more, when in fact is I've looked into many things and in depth too, and I find no compelling evidence for any wabbit. Your questions are beyond our current scientific knowledge, and if they are even valid to begin with, i.e. who said anything made the rules, who said anything's required to keep them working, who said they even work. Perhaps it's just we, and then I can't see the rest of it because in these email notices I only get like a part of it, a few lines. But that's obviously in reply to Steve Trueblue. Steve Trueblue has had an awful lot to say about this. In the previous video he said atheist needs to follow up on David Thompson physical medium. I don't know if you remember that from the previous comments reply video where I talked about this. But Steve's an old friend of mine, very interesting chap, and so thanks for Steve for commenting and everyone else who commented in that conversation. Right, Taimada has commented again. Oh, right, here we go. Right, I don't mean to be rude. This is Taimada21 who gave us the first comment. I don't mean to be rude, but Stefan appears to be locked into his own extremely limited mental capacity and is trying to convince others to enter as well. I think that he needs to go back and scratch and reassess himself. Well, I don't think Stefan has an extremely limited mental capacity. I think he has a very, very large mental capacity. He's a very interesting guy, and I think he's a very genuine and likeable person, a very decent, a very sort of virtuous person, to use his language. That being said, you're right, he does need to go back to scratch and reassess himself. I mean, this is the whole point of my video, was he got it wrong. He got it completely wrong about the afterlife, which is why I challenged him on that. And if he wants me on his show, I'll go onto his show and I'll talk him through it. I did send him a link to this. So you're partly right there, Taimada. Taimada says again on the same video, and this is one that oh, here we are. No, here we are. Yeah, the law Mahoyo Rengekyo, I think that's a chant, isn't it, represents the identity of what we refer to now as the unified field of consciousness. This is an enormously long comment, so I can't read. This is there's about 4,000 or 5,000 words here, but I appreciate you commenting, Taimada. I really do. But there's an awful lot here. I'll have a read through that when I can. I really will. Thank you very much for commenting that. And Taimada says again. Here we go. The body. Taimada put little timestamps on. There's an awful lot to say about this, and has put like timestamps on them. I don't need to put another tag for Taimada. The body is an accumulation of matter that is arranged by the inner wisdom contained in our life force. This is very interesting. It's a recycling machine. If you wish to leave the earth physically, we need to take the environmental necessities in order to survive, such as oxygen, food and water. Yeah, that's interesting. An egg knows when to shut the door. Imagine if you could see how tiny each sperm is, yet it contains not only info on where to go, but also the info to develop into a human being, along with the info combined in the tiny egg. If something is unproven, then, this is a quote, if something is unproven, then assume it is false. Oh my, what an enormously ridiculous assumption and statement to make. Sorry, Stefan. You have dropped an atom bomb on your credibility. You leave me feeling pity for you being so self-centered and deluded. I'm thoroughly enjoying your open-seeking mind, Ben. Well, I'm glad you... Thanks, Taimada. Thank you. And I don't think you're being quite fair to Stefan, but obviously his credibility in your eyes is your business. I think he's made a big mistake, which is why I made that video. I think he gets it wrong sometimes. Taimada says again on the same video. This is another very, very long comment here. I appreciate you must have really worked hard here, Taimada. And Taimada21, I'm sorry I can't answer every comment you put here, because you've put an awful lot here. I mean, you've very, very long, detailed commentary on this video that I made. And please just go to the video and read what Time Rider has to say if you have time, because it's very interesting. Right, on the afterlife, I reply to Stefan Molyneux. This is Shamaniacs. Shamaniacs is obviously in a debate with Tony Kenner. One of my last posts was not intended for you, Tony, but thanks for your response. It does amaze me how you can type so many words without actually saying anything. Yeah, this is Tony Kenner is definitely a skeptic. I think definitely. This is just Shamaniacs replying to Tony Kenner. So I'll leave you guys to it. You know, you don't need me to butt in. I mean, I've had a look through the conversation. Most of the conversation I looked through last time, so you can sort that out for yourselves. Tony Kenner said, and Tony has deleted his comments. The article is quite a basic GCSE introduction into the current debate. We have problems such as P versus NP, for which we don't have answers to. I don't know what that means. If you study Leonard Susskind, a professor of theoretical physics, he talks about how everything in our 3D universe could be already determined on a 2D surface of a universal event horizon. The maths even says it could be true. We have made strides forward since the days of Achilles and the tortoise within Zeno's paradoxes, and therefore I can't read anymore. I tell you, why did you delete your comments, Tony? I mean, it sounds like you're quite interesting. Tony Kenner says, now Steve advises me Shamaniacs is trying to coax you to move to the next stepping stone. So if that's true, then please move on from basic GCSE knowledge and give me something concrete, as I'm not going to step into a non-physical stone, as I might get my metaphorical feet wet. All right, Tony. Yeah. Tony Kenner actually, as I said, I know him from HPANWO Radio. He posts in the chat box on HPANWO Radio, and I don't mind skeptics. Skeptics fine. I mean, I get far more strident skeptics than him from time to time. Beats are, you know. Tony Kenner, I also produce some psi tests which are now available. Oh, he's got a little link here to something he's done. Oh, there's nothing there. It's just blank. Oh, what's going on? I don't know what this is. Okay, he's provided a link here which doesn't go anywhere. These were simple tests in which a dot's location was already determined, but the dot was hidden by the user. The user had to click where they thought the dot was located. It would rank users over 5 attempts, not surprising to me. Nobody ever got where the dot was located, hence why I took these tests offline, but I might put them back online, and we can get the most in-tune medium. Okay, well, please do, Tony. Please do. Shamaniacs then says, my last post was not... This is my last post, that's it. That's the last comment Shamaniacs made. Right, we move on to a different video now. Did Britain start the World Wars? This is David White. Here we go. This was the comments reply video. So David White. I'll just put him here. Just doing another one. What I did with David White wanted to know when my comments reply video was coming, because there was a bit of a delay last time. Something went wrong when I think when it was processing, and I had to re-edit it or something. So he just said, "No rush, I'm intrigued." Okay, how much time? Only 14 minutes gone. Okay. David White says, again on ditch the tinfoil hat. This is a new video now. Ditch the tinfoil hat. He said something in Latin. Et suis baptistis tesuntum animalis, and time and a time for every purpose under the heaven. You're welcome. I don't know what that means, but there's some meaning behind it. So I've got a bit of a cough. Right. Right, here we go. Right, sorry, just running a bit. I've got the antivirus going. Scan complete. Right. Okay. Right. So next one. This is Dish the Tinfoil Hat again, and it's David White again. Omnia tempus habent, a time for everything. Right. David White says here, re the yellow and black beards. Surely it's better to have as much information as possible before making up your mind. Jumping to conclusions is just as bad as not questioning something. Well, yes, absolutely. In a sense, it's the same. Jumping to conclusions is the same thing. Is the same as not questioning something. Jumping to conclusions is exactly the same. It's not questioning. It's saying something is without examining it logically. So that's exactly the same as not questioning something. So the yellow and black the yellow and black beads. Sorry, not beards. Beads. Oh, that was this little trick they were doing. Yeah, it's where you had to explain in the video about this experiment with yellow and black beads. Right, Tony Kenner. Oh, this is back on the afterlife. A reply to Stephen Molyneux. Sure, whatever you say. Okay. Craig Smith. This is on the previous comments reply video. Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast was a track from Pink Floyd's LP Atom Heart Mother. I was making a Pink Floyd clip. Alright, sorry Craig. Craig obviously thought I was more familiar with Pink Floyd than I am. I mean, I am slightly, because I can't remember the conversation I had, but it was to do with On Turning Away. I think it was about taking action and not ignoring things. And so I mentioned the Pink Floyd song On Turning Away because it was what it was. Is Molyneux was talking about Pink Floyd about being derogatory to. He's talking about Pink Floyd in a derogatory manner, thinking that people who listen to Pink Floyd are just like hippie dippies who never do anything, and I thought that was unfair. But there, Craig, I've left you a little tag, I believe. So thanks, Craig. Diamanda 21 has come back on reply to comments. Hey Ben, I understand that some comments are very long, and you didn't have time to read them all. I must have said that on my last video. But since all the posters have gone to the trouble in respect to you, have spent their time writing what they have, I hope that you will also show your respect and gratitude to at least read their comments in your own time. Perhaps it would be a good idea to do this prior to making a reply comments video. You could make note of a couple of overall things, and then you could mention when it's too long to read out. Well, Amanda, I don't have time to preview these comments, I'm afraid, these particular comments readouts, I'm afraid, because it takes virtually all evening just to do these videos. I don't have time. I'm very sorry. I'm trying to write my book and stuff like that. I'll do my best. That's all I can do. But I can't. Hang on just a moment. And I can't do that. Basically. Right. Jamie says on the last reply to comments video. There's a bit of a conversation here. Jamie starts by saying PewDiePie was trying to be funny, but he actually paid people to hold up signs saying the words "kill the Jews." This is beyond the scope of comedy or parody, or what one might call satire. Quite simple, really. Well, I think it was in bad taste. But it's not something I find funny. But again, you've got to say, should that result in being turned into effectively a criminal, having his livelihood stripped from him? Does he really deserve that? I mean, we've just had remember that guy, that Scottish guy, who trained his dog to do Nazi salutes, and the man would say "gas the Jews," and the dog would do like a Nazi salute with his paw. That, to me, is very. I can see why people find that offensive. But you see, the thing about free speech is free speech means you have the right to be offensive, and people have the right to then say, I don't want you around me, I don't like you, and I'm not going to speak to you, and then that person would end up a very lonely person because they're offending people. Okay, what I don't think anyone has the right to do is say, I'm offended by what you're saying, therefore you should have criminal proceedings meted out against you. And this guy's I think he's just got himself a 2-year suspended sentence. They were actually going to put him in jail for this. I just put a little, what's the time now? 20 minutes. And as I see, Reeferman 420NL does kind of, he gets into an argument with Jamie about this particular issue. So again, I think PewDiePie was treated unfairly. I mean, PewDiePie can be a bit of a dick, I know, and he likes to be very, very controversial, and I think he gets a lot of what he does out of being controversial. So, right, and this is right. Iman Padudama says on reply to comments 9. Oh, and this is another. There we go. This is another conversation between. Iwan Padudama says, I find it hard to believe that Paul Joseph Watson is sincere when he seems to have completely changed his attitude to alleged Islamic terrorism. He apparently had no problem seeing that 7/7 and 9/11 weren't as we've been told, but now seems to find it non-conceivable that the same could be true about recent attacks. I agree that talk of controlled opposition generally goes nowhere and is often quite simplistic and vague. That said, I think InfoWars qualifies as such if any outlet does. And Reeferman 420NL says, I agree, and PJW is lately just polarising the tensions. It seems the Zionists have engaged heavily in polarisation opposition. The Joshua Goldberg case is interesting in this context. I haven't heard of the Joshua Goldberg case. But they're right. I mean, well, Iman Padudama is correct about Paul Joseph Watson. And as with Alex Jones himself, who he works for, they've changed. They've moved from the conspiracy into the alt-right. And although the alt-right does make some good points, it's wrong about a lot of things. And you need the input of the conspiracy sphere, in a sense, to complement the alt-right and vice versa to get to the truth, in my view. Paul Joseph Watson, yeah, he has actually said essentially that he and Alex Jones have almost, without saying as many words, have backed down from their previous position. They're now taking the position that the aggressor is Islam itself, and that is the actual aggressor, and that the government are more they're more playing a passive role. They're so weakened by liberalism they can't do anything about the real problem. Whereas the truth is very different, as I explained in the video. In my view, the government know exactly what they're doing, and they're not allowing it to happen. They're making it happen. That being said, I mean, it doesn't mean every single Islamist attack is a false flag. I mean, I'm not in any way saying that the Manchester attacks, for instance, and the London Bridge attacks are false flags. I've seen no reason, although I am looking into it. Someone has sent me some information which I'm looking at. At the moment, I do not see any reason to consider them false flags. But I might change my mind on that. We'll see. And there's Reeferman just replying. Reeferman said, also on reply to comments 9. Well, this is his conversation with Jamie. So I'm just going through that now. No need to. And this is Jamie again replying to him. Right, here we go. This is on reply to comments. I think it's a different conversation. From Reeferman 420, who says, we're almost at the end of this particular. About disclosure, I guess the aliens themselves are the primary factor. If they wanted to enter the public arena, they can do so at any time. But the fact they don't force their presence to be known publicly could be because of the way they are being welcomed so far. If they don't want to go public, one-sided government disclosure could become a difficult story. They are here, but they don't want to meet us face to face. They know they operate on our Earth. We know they operate on our Earth. Well, yeah, I mean, this is the factor. The extraterrestrials themselves is a major factor within this infernal triangle of the disclosure issue between the people, the ETs, and the Illuminati-occupied government. And perhaps they're often left out by people like Bassett. I mean, presumably, if they wanted to, they could end it themselves. They could end the truth embargo now. Although, I sometimes think, is there any evidence that they could present which would not be denied? You know, if something landed in the middle of the White House lawn, the proverbial White House lawn landing, would somebody still say it was a weather balloon, and it would still be reported as a weather balloon? I would be surprised, you know. I mean, I go into that in my book. So I see what you mean. I mean, it could be that for whatever reason they're not revealing themselves. Now, there could be a reason for that, but it's hard to say because we can't. Anthropomorphizing these beings is extremely difficult, and I think it's a bit futile actually, because to put ourselves in their shoes when they're extraterrestrial beings, where they may have a psychology that is so unlike our own that we not only do not understand their motives and for their actions, and we can't understand their motives and their actions any more than your pet hamster could understand some of the things that you do and why you do it. If we're dealing with hyperdimensional intelligence, I mean, it's quite likely these beings do have intelligence in excess of us, and to try and grasp an intelligence in excess of our own could be pretty much impossible, as in the case of the hamster. The hamster is never going to understand everything human comprehends, no matter how hard it tries, if it even is aware that it needs to try. So, it's a difficult question. But thanks, Reefer Man. That's very interesting. Reefer Man he carries on his conversation with Jamie. Now, Truth Seeker says, on reply to comments 9. Right. Oh, this is one. Let's have a look. I'll just put him a little tag. The average Jew is just trying to feed his family like everybody else, but I do not doubt it. But elite Jews are a different kettle of fish. Top international bankers are Jews. Warburg, Schiff, Oppenheimer, Rothschild, to name a few. The Protocols of Zion and the letters to the chief rabbi of Spain from 1492 both line up with the teachings of the Talmud and the Zohar, where they teach that Jews are destined to rule the world, and by fair means and foul, quite acceptable. My big problem with all Jews is they stick together and will not expose criminal Jews in their midst. If you ever do business with a Jew, you won't forget it in a hurry. So Stowe, just wondering what you're really up to. Zionism is a Jewish construct, and so is communism, whether you like it or not. I disagree. I've actually done a radio show about this. Maybe I should transfer it to video or something. But the top international bankers are Jews. Jews have a natural tendency towards finance. It's true. It's part of their culture, and in the same way they have a natural affinity for the media, because they are a lot of actors and actresses, film directors, film producers, etc. are Jews. This is because this is their traditional industry, and there was a time when it was the only employment they could get in the Middle Ages and things like that. The Protocols of Zion are actually a transcribed forgery. I've explained about this. I believe that they are based on a real document, but the Jewish flavour was added by Sergei Nilis, the Russian agent who actually published them. I wish I had more time to go into all detail about this. I'll have to do an entire video, I expect. Well, I've done an entire radio show about this on HPANWO Radio, so check that out. Now, the Talmud does not teach Jews that they are destined to rule the world, and a lot of the passages from the Talmud are actually quoted as being, Gentiles are the same as donkeys, spit on their doorstep and things like that. It's part of a dialogue between various rabbis about the treatment of Gentiles in the in Jewish communities, in Jewish-run societies. And these quoted texts are actually not statements at the end of this conversation, they're statements from within the conversation. Again, I've tackled that in this particular radio show. Zionism is a Jewish concept. Zionism is actually emerges more from the British Empire. It goes into the story of Lawrence of Arabia and things like that. Now, communism is also. A lot of communists were Jews. I mean, Karl Marx was a Jew, the inventor of communism, as was Lenin, Trotsky, etc. But again, it's the elite. So there is an elite up there that created communism, definitely, and they tried to use it to take over the world. They ended up using it. They still are, but it's taking the form of cultural Marxism rather than the kind that was in the Bolshevik Revolution that happened 100 years ago. But again, it's not connected to Jews themselves. Jews are the Jewish faith, the Jewish religion, Jewish people. They are a culture and people that emerged in the Middle East. Jews were actually slaves of the actual first generation Illuminati occupied cultures of Egypt. Of course, very famously, they escaped from Egypt across the Red Sea, and the waves parted and things like that. Whether that was actually true, they did escape from slavery. So again, I could go into a lot more details, but I don't agree with your premise. But thanks for the comment anyway. Mark Porrett says on, I think we got to the end of this tag. Yeah, I'm going to move on to the next tag now because we're 30 minutes in. Oh, time flies, doesn't it? Mark Porrett says, "Wow, you replied to my comment quick. Less than 10 minutes in." I said, "I'm doing another one. Doing another one now." I just do. I won't put a tag on that. Doing another one now. There we are. Okay. Right. Did Britain start the World Wars? This is another old video. Oh, this is a conversation. Oh, this is a long conversation I had. Okay. I've already put. This is right. This is Truth Seeker, who's the chap who's just saying what he did about Jews. Is the guy I've been debating with about this on that particular video too. So we'll just see if he makes any different points. Let's just have a look. Jewish International Bankers, Protocols of Zion. Churchill was a manic depressive. I know. Oh, I've been. That was from the previous video. Okay. Churchill's mother, Jenny Jerome Jacobson, a Jewess from an extremely wealthy American Jewish family. You've got Jews on the brain, Truth Seeker. And he can't. Yeah, he's not making any new points, unfortunately. Here, Truth Seeker or not. I'll give you a tag anyway. But I've been through this with you. I'm not going to repeat myself again. Okay, we're going to disagree on this. Right. So reply to comments 9. This is Jack Parker. Ice cream discussion. At the time, there was a bit of a missile crisis. I was being facetious. Is this about my HPANWO ice cream? And what was the missile crisis? Was it the bombing of Syria or something? But I don't know what you mean, Jack. Sorry. Right. Craig Walsh says on reply to comments 9. What's the weather like on Thursday? Don't know. I don't know why he's asking me that. Don't know. Okay, reply to comments 9. What are you waffling about exactly? Nice cap, by the way. Got a different one on today. Oh, thanks. I got it the other way round this time. I had it like this last time. Kind of this way now. Right. Jack Parker says an epiphany. This is on the reply to comments 9 again. An epiphany, actual tinfoil hat sales. Give it a go, Ben. I'd like to see how that works. Make fashionable varieties sold as tinfoil hats. You can actually get tinfoil hats in sort of like stovepipe or Stetson or bowler hats and things like that. I might think I'll buy one for Bowler Hat Man actually. Jorge Rodriguez says, you have a very good piano player, Ben. Check Chick Corea Music. That's him upstairs. He's quiet at the moment. Yeah, but there's a guy upstairs who plays piano. Jack Parker also says on reply to comments 9. Tinfoil hat sales idea, more importantly, might serendipitously bring into light the concept of disclosure, and the funds can be channeled into that effort. Well, you know, if I make enough money, Jack, if I sell enough of them, perhaps. The problem with tinfoil hats is it's just so easy to make. You just get any hat and you cover it in tinfoil. It's just pretty easy. But you know, if I'll run it past Steve, see if he thinks that's a good way of raising some funds for the Paradigm Research Group. On the same video, he says the tinfoil hats would have to be laminated, durable construction, of course. Maybe excellent in the rain, increased visibility and water shedding. Give tip to somebody who doesn't have the funds to invest, but must be sold as tinfoil hats. I don't know. I'll see if the tinfoil hat lady knows anything about this. Maybe she'll be helpful there. Julian Carver says on reply to comments 9. Superb upload, Ben. Loved the interview on HPANWO Radio this week with Larry Warren. Unfortunately, I always have to catch the podcast due to working commitments. Absolutely love all the radio stuff you do. Oh, thanks, Julian. And you know, please do check out HPANWO Radio. It's easy. You just go to the. Well, there's no link in the description box this time, but go to the HPANWO radio blog, HPANWO-radio.blogspot.com, and there's all the radio shows I do, including one I did about Jews. I actually done a radio show called Jews, where I tackled the things I talked about with the Truth Seeker. I did have Larry Warren on as a guest, and of course Larry Warren is going to come up on this video too, because I did a video with Larry Warren too, which has some comments on it. Jack Parker says on reply to comments 9, remote viewing humanity, they're placing an order. These hats have to be clearly labelled tinfoil hats. I think you can tell them without the label, you know. Another crazy idea marketing, says Jack. The alien message, that is persuasive. Would you like that we show up? This alien message was delivered by someone, an experiencer. We simply have to channel our minds, they will perceive. This can be put on shirts with a descriptive image. I like it, Jack. I like these ideas. I'll have to hire you as my business consultant. Jack Parker says, we'll never get anywhere if we use monetizing as a motive. The whole reason we're in this fix in the first place. No opportunity for advancement. Well, people talk about me monetizing my videos. I mean, no, I'm not going to monetize my videos. Someone suggested I do. I know a lot of people do, and I don't object. I don't think there's anything immoral about monetizing your videos. I've talked about this with Slaxer. He monetizes his. But I find monetizing annoying. I mean, I sometimes don't watch a video if a big ad pops up, you know, and I'm thinking, shall I, or shan't I watch this, and there's an ad there. You went, oh, there's no skip button. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm not going to watch that. And you get these things, these things that pop up underneath, you know, and that's annoying too. So, and I worked out. I did a little back of the envelope calculation, and I worked out that with my particular viewing figures, I might be lucky to get £4 or £5 a week from if I monetize. I mean, if I'm like PewDiePie is different because you can earn a lot more. If my viewing figures go up considerably, then well, I mean, it may be worth it because I'll be getting considerable amount of money in. But for £4 or £5 a week, it's just not worth it. Jack Parker says these ideas need to be selflessly and exponentially put into motion for disclosure. And Bia says on reply to comment. All these comments are on reply to comments 9. Right, this is oh my God, Ben, your factual lol statement that black people commit more violent crime than white people is probably because the police love to pick up black people in greater numbers than white people. An absolutely shocking thing for you to say. Please show me evidence of your so-called facts. Thought so. Please have a think about what you said. Tut tut tut. Right, well I said I think what I said was factually correct. But I also made it clear this was because I was involved in a conversation with Edwardian lady and somebody else. I also made it very clear that there's no judgment in that. It's simply a statistical fact. It's not implying any kind of anything about the moral character of black people. Okay, I think I was just Edwardian lady said something and someone else challenged her, and I went to have a look. And the police commissioner said this, that I think black people do, on average, they do commit more violent crime than white people. I don't know why that is. It's not because they're bad people. Of course not. So, I mean, facts. There's no such thing as a good or bad fact, BB. There are simply correct facts or incorrect facts. If what I've said is incorrect, then I'll apologise and I won't say any more. But I'm not making a moral judgment at all when I say that, when I stated what I did. I'm just backing Edwardian lady up because I think she's correct. So, okay, and if the police love to pick up black people in greater numbers than white people, well, if that's true, okay, then I apologise, that's the case. But then you go, what a shocking thing for you to say. No, it's not a shocking thing for me to say. Maybe I made a mistake. Okay? You've got to get out this bloody political correctness and this cultural Marxism where you're not allowed to say certain things or think certain things, otherwise you're evil racist and stuff like that. Okay, that is something we have to get out of. It's a mindset we have to get out of. Okay? Right, we're going back to the afterlife for reply to Stefan Molyneux, and Emlyn-Jones says, and this is Dazastar. I think Dazastar started a conversation, and Emlyn-Jones gets into into a conversation with Dazastar. Right. And Imam says that I didn't hear a reply on your latest video, and I did listen to much of it. Was it between 2 and 2.5 hours, or between 3 and 3.5 hours? You specified both those times in this thread in 2 separate comments. Okay. Well, I'm only going to put one notice in this thread. Okay. It's between the 30-minute and 1 hour point, which is where it's actually 40 minutes in. Okay. Puadima, you man, whatever you're called. Right. Gez501. It should always be remembered, this is on the Stefan Molyneux video, the Afterlife one. It is, here we go, yeah. Just checking it was the right video. That Stefan Molyneux is a professional wordsmith. Be aware that he is trained in his craft and, of course, NLP. Does Stefan use NLP? I don't know, maybe he does. I mean, like I said, I'm not glorifying Stefan Molyneux. He's someone I think gets a lot of things wrong, and he can be a bit of a dickhead sometimes, quite frankly. Like, with Fritz, I mean, I maintain I think he was wrong the way he spoke to Fritz. And he does that with several people. Right, this is a comment on an older video now, Dr. Jonathan Reed at Rendlesham Forest, and it's been deleted. It just says, cool, and it's by Carson the Man 5. Right, Tony Kenner on reply to comments. Is he going to delete this as well? Yeah, but he's deleted his comment again. Why did you do this, Tony? Anyway, he says, here's a summary. Formal education is a massive con trick. Even though I use and rely on that is taught. Even though I use and rely on all that is taught every day. Did you know I can turn invisible? And anyone who says differently just hasn't done and I can't read the rest. I don't know why you delete your comments. Have you blocked me or something? I don't know. Have you blocked me? Don't think so. Why would you block me? Right. UFO Disclosure 2017. What about Britain? And this is a comment by Matthew Taylor. Okay, Ben, I'll check out your new video, the answer to the disclosure topic. Okay, so I'll put one here as well. Okay, so Matthew, that's from Matthew. I have done another. Have I done another disclosure video since then? I don't know. I think I'm overdue for one actually. Matthew Taylor. This is on reply to comments 9. TV feedback loop, ITC spirit communication is what you're thinking. Right, that's it. ITC, that's in spirit. ITC spirit communication. Yeah, the thing that Baird was into. So thanks. I should put a thanks, Matt. Thanks, Matthew. Not Matthew, not Matthew. It's Matthew. Matthew, wasn't not Matthew Taylor, not Matthew Williams. Oh, no, I'm not. Don't you go going on about crop circles to me. Anyway, Jorge Rodriguez, or Jorge Rodriguez, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Ben is the reason for war because too many people in the world. Ben is the reason for war because too many people in the world. No. I just put no there. Okay. No, the reason for war is there aren't too many people in the world, Jorge. That is a myth. The overpopulation is a myth. I've done an entire video on the overpopulation myth. Okay, there's not too many people in the world. Right. Paul Armstrong. Sounds like Liberace's in your room. Never could mind upstairs. I've never had Liberace in my room. He's a gay bloke, isn't he? Or the Dover Liberace, perhaps, who is, of course, Beats Colin Snuggs. Our good friend, the Dover Liberace, as I call him. Vrillon Aura. Hi, Vrillon. I've met Vrillon. Vrillon really exists. I've met him. The guy downstairs, he's upstairs, actually. The guy upstairs reminds me of that Alexei Sales sketch about Bontemi home organs and the young ones. God blimey. Vrillon, are you that old? You don't look it. I think I vaguely remember Alexei Sale and the young ones, and that was with Rick Mail and that was Adrian Edmondson. But they did a couple of things together, yeah. Right. Oh, Get Out film review. Here we go. Right. Right, this is a continuing debate which Edwardian lady started, where she was talking about crime statistics for black people and white people, and here we go. Edwardian lady, there's only one comment we put on this long conversation, which I waded into, which is why this person said what they did a few minutes ago. There are huge. Wild Fox 01 says, Edwardian lady, there are a huge number of white paedophile statistics out of control, and we could make an argument that white middle-aged men are more likely to molest children. How about judging people as individuals rather than labelling them by their ethnic background? It's people like you who are the ones with the racial hang-ups and personal insecurities by cherry-picking the facts out to suit your cause. There is one race called the human race. Well, I think that's being unfair to Edwardian lady, because actually if you look at what Edwardian lady said, she actually, all she did was state what she believed and what may well be a fact. As I said earlier, there's no judgment imposed, there's no judgment attached to that fact. But if something is, then it is. Now, as far as the white middle-aged men are more likely to molest children, well, if that's the case, then I'll own that too. Okay, I mean, again, it doesn't mean you're saying anything bad about white people in general, are you? And you say judge people as individuals. I quite agree. Rather than labelling them by their ethnic background. Edwardian lady's not labelling people, individuals, by their ethnic background. Okay, Edwardian lady is, I think, stating a statistic, that's all. And again, facts are facts. Facts are morally neutral, as I explained. Now, there was one race called the human race. There's a species called humans, and humans have split up, have different races. And I think we're meant to be in different races. I don't think it's... Well, part of the New World Order wants, I think, to merge us all together into a single racial group. So there wouldn't be any black people or white people anymore. We'd all be kind of like... we'd all be sort of like a mixed kind of like... I suppose we'd be sort of like light brown, and we'd all look the same. That'd be boring, wouldn't it? It'd be really boring if we were like that. But I think that's what the New World Order has planned for us. Anyway, yeah, so, I mean, I think you're being unfair to Edwardian lady. And again, if white middle-aged men are more likely to molest children, fine. I'm not, is that saying something bad about white middle-aged men? Is it? See? Okay, now as for the Get Out, the film Get Out, actually, this often happens with all the videos I've reviewed, the films I've reviewed. I mean, at least this one in the Viceroy's house. My opinion of them has dropped as I sort of remember them, because I think I gave this one 4 out of 10. I'd give it probably 2 or 3 out of 10 now. It's actually not that. It's not a very good film. It's so shallow. It could have done so much more with the concept of them kidnapping people and taking their brains out. It's such a good idea. And they didn't explore it, I think, and also the fact they brought in the racism into it was obviously a way of promoting their film, because it's all so progressive and so left wing. No one's going to give it a bad review, are they? If it hadn't been for the racial element to that film, it would have been panned by the critics. So I think it was a bit of pretentious. It was a pretentious film. It was shallow. It had its good bits, especially I think his mate, the TSA guy. Chris's friend was a great character who saves the day at the end. He's brilliant. But I think it was a poor effort. It could have been much better. It was a good, nice idea. It was wasted. And I've changed my mind about the Viceroy's house as well. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. Reply to comments 9. Tashmaker91. Thanks for the reply, Ben. I'm still on there. Yeah, I'm still on that second tag. I'm really looking forward to seeing your posters. I'll keep an eye out for the video. I was also wondering how you feel about the Mindset podcast coming to the end. This is how we came across you. We'll miss it. Yeah, Tashmak, I'm pretty gutted actually when the Mindset stopped. I mean, it's a long story. I still don't know exactly why it happened. Gareth's been very, very nice about it. He's just done a little video to say a little monologue to say thank you to everybody. But it's a real shame the Mindset podcast has come to an end. But do remember, Third Rail Radio is now broadcasting. This is essentially the replacement to Mindset. I've got together with Joe Dunn and Trevor Murray, and I've started a new radio show with them, which is kind of like which is just like the Mindset, really. It's called Third Rail Radio, and we're aiming to bring it out every Sunday, just like we did Mindset. So keep a look out for that. Right, Laura Knight says on Bigfoot. No, it's not Laura Knight Yadchik, is it? No, on Bigfoot in Britain. It's true, I have a knowing of the subject of big, beautiful brother and sister Sasquatch. They are in the shadows at the moment, as most people are, scared or in fear, or want to hunt or hurt them. You will never have an encounter with them if they sense any of this. Only when we're not in fear or want to hunt or hurt them, they will present themselves to you in baby steps. Peace and love to all you bros and sisters. Right, thanks, Laura. It's possible they have some kind of... They have some kind of sense. They have like a sense of what we're. They can sort of like they have some kind of psychic powers. It's quite possible. I don't discount that at all. Miles did an interview with a guy who talks about the Sasquatch and about how there's some kind of interdimensional being, and well, it's possible. Personally, I think they are a genuine cryptid, though. I really do. Steve P, same video. Steve P says, Bob Gilman is not dead. What are you shite you spouting? All right, Steve. Right, or Steve P. I know. You're a bit late. You're coming in a bit late if you want to sort of like do the how you got that wrong thing. Proved you wrong. Yabu sucks. Okay, that someone's already done that, so you're a bit behind the times there. Right. Next comment. Laura Knight, you could call them BFG in my eyes. What, big friendly giants? Same video. Yeah, that was a book by Roald Dahl. Big friendly giant. Yeah. Jack Parker says in reply to comments 9. In regards to so-called ghosts, souls that visit, the disbeliever right away assumes that's impossible. How and why would a ghost have clothes? It's the same phenomenon that allows another person to put an image into another person's mind. We are like hound dogs when it comes to entities and beings. We hear and feel people looking at us and remember retrospectively our communication beforehand, sometimes as we turn and look at them all of the time without paying that much conscious attention to it. Just a second nature decision to the soul to put image more holographically to your mind's eye to add redundancy to the communication. We tend nebulously mystify actual physical presence at a different energy level. If I understand you correctly, Jack, what you're saying is that these things wear clothes because we have these in our mental image of them having clothes. Now, in the film What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams, that actually is brought up in this film because he says, "Why am I wearing clothes?" Because he's actually a spirit in heaven. He dies and goes to heaven, and he's wearing these. He says, "Why am I wearing clothes?" And his guide, this angel, says, "Residual self-image." So maybe there's a part of that to it. UFO disclosure. What about Britain? Young Rilla says, "Just one question. Who the fuck is Steve? Maybe I'm late. I'm late to the party. Lol." You are late to the party, and I do actually state who Steve is in the video. Young. It's Stephen Bassett. It's Stephen Bassett. Okay. I'll write it in there for you. Stephen Bassett. That's who it is. I mean, I think I explained who Steve is. Right. Did Britain start 2 world wars? This is per T-Spec. Did Britain start 2 world wars? The first nation to declare War of World War II was the Jews and Judea. 24th of March 1933. Judea declares war on Germany because Hitler did nationalise the banks. 2 months later, they declared war on Germany. I think that's true, actually. There was a big headline in newspapers all around the world saying Judea declares war on Germany. I don't know how that is necessarily relevant to this. I don't know what Nick thinks of that, because Nick Colostrum, basically this was a lecture by Nick Colostrum. But yeah, that actually did happen. Almost an hour in now. Holly House says, this is on Dr. Jonathan Reed, "I get the impression his experience is genuine." Well, I've kind of got this is a long conversation. Here is. Let me just go. Oh god, there's 22 replies on this. This is going back a whole year. So let's just find the last few. Oh, this is just 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. This is Holly House, who I can't see where Holly House's comment is, but there's someone called WF replying to Holly House. I think Holly House has deleted a comment, which is a bit weird. Oh, I don't know why people do that. Gary Robinson says on reply to comments 9. Hey Ben, I've not had a chance to comment on any of your videos for a long time. I just wanted to say keep up the good work, mate. Okay, I'll just say thanks. Thanks, Gary. Will do. Smiley face. So, yeah, so I'll just put a... I don't know. He's just sort of saying that, so I don't want... I'm almost at the end of that particular tag. Right. The Death of Nurse Jacinta Saldana, part 1 of 2. This is Sophie Lewis, who says... get the gonorrhea hooker swine pig Catherine Middleton stinky vagina smelling like dead corpse who murdered Jacinta Saldana. Swine pig Catherine Middleton had adopted baby George and baby Charlotte. I didn't quite understand all that, Sophie, but obviously you said... I get the impression you don't like Kate Middleton very much. You're saying murdered. Well, I mean, I don't think we can name people who murdered Jacinta Saldana. I don't believe it was suicide what happened to her. Somebody, I believe, there is foul play. I think we should suspect foul play. I don't believe we should start nominating people without evidence, though. It's possible that Kate Middleton is completely innocent, being caught up in this. Ironically, the thing about Kate Middleton is they called her the most envied woman on earth when she married Prince William. She actually went to St Andrews College. A lot of young women entered St Andrews College because they wanted to meet William and hopefully marry him. Because she married the most eligible bachelor in the world. The thing is now, she's inside the royal family looking out, and she's learnt the real story. And I bet she probably envies every other woman on earth. That's the irony, she probably really envies them. Right, Sophie Lewis also says on the same video, Jacinta Saldana was stabbed in the stomach by gonorrhea stinky vagina hooker swine pig. No, I don't think she was stabbed, she was hanged. And we don't know Kate Middleton had anything to do with it. Like I said, we shouldn't blame Kate Middleton. Hiding with the witch hunt of Benghazi swine pig human. I don't understand this now. Sorry. London public restrooms and Lolita Express in Nueva Philippines. Who's been hiding with? So she's rambling. She's rambling now. I don't know what you're saying, Sophie. I'm sorry. She's not making any sense. Right, Peasmore Deltagate. This is a new video. Love it. Please be careful. This is from KBKB. Thanks, KB. KB will do smiley face. That's when another blonde and I went and investigated Peasmore. We're looking for the final gate of Peasmore, the Delta Gate. Also on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate, Emperor Mong says, not much chance of finding a secret military underground base if you can't even tell the pub shut, Ben. Keep it up though, love it. Thanks, Emperor Mong. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, we're a bit of a... I suppose we were a bit amateurish that day. But, you know, it's just kind of like... it was a bit of an amateurish sort of operation. But I think we did what we could under the circumstances. We don't have like ground penetrating radar and stuff like that. I'm glad you like the videos anyway, Mong. Thanks very much. Jack Parker says on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate, the Greek word. I have a Greek lady friend that speaks 4 languages. I can't bother her. There are translator apps for the phone that allow you to take a picture. It translates. Just Google the word translator apps. You might find one appropriate. Oh, this is what the Greek word was. Where was that? Oh, I think it was at the church or something. Yeah, it was at the church. That's right. There were Greek. There were letters. There were Greek inscriptions on the font. That was it. Yeah. Thanks, Jack. Peasmore for Deltagate. Jack Parker also says, I might say you have a great gift if you can recall your guess in regards to yours truly. I am ostensibly black. There is sometimes a monstrous stigma attached, possibly to all races depending on your perspective. I've discovered the necessity to make an absolute make an absolute effort to transcend all partitions of chance. I notice in England there's less for this extraneous concern. More cerebral afflictions can be found. But I'm nowhere near England, never been there. Hopefully the propaganda fares well. Jack, I can't tell what colour you are because you just have one of those letterbox avatars. But if you're ostensibly black, well, I don't think that makes any difference really online or anywhere or most places. You've never been to England. Well, the propaganda here is faring very well. No worse than it is in many other countries. I don't know which country you're actually from, but just to let you know that it's faring well here. Jack Parker says, I meant English dudes are pretty cool. Well, thank you. I'm glad you think so. I'll say thanks. Me too. Well, I'm actually Welsh, not English, but you know what I mean. Jack Parker says, unfortunately, England sent all of its mentally disabled and criminally insane to the New World. Back in the day. That's right, the Australians. They're all descended from some thugs and loonies. And sometimes it doesn't half tell, doesn't it? Sorry, my Australian viewers, especially Mrs. Burpee. Craig Walsh says on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate, where is the Nakhas spirit hiding nowadays? N-A-C-H-A-S. I don't know what that is. Sorry, Craig, I don't know what you're talking about. Craig Walsh on the same video. Does Pussy Galore find relief? Will James Bond come to her rescue? Find out in the next episode of James Bland. James Pussy. Oh, that was a. He's talking about James. Pussy Galore was a character from James Bond. They all have these really suggestive names. Come to her rescue. Oh yeah. Thanks, Craig. Julian Carver. Hello, Julian. Nice to hear from you. Says on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate. I'm on to the next one now. Right, I've got to change tags. Sorry, I've gone a bit over with the tags. Just only 2 minutes, it won't make any difference. So it's now on the 1 hour to 1 hour 30 part. Copy. Right. Good stuff, Ben. I agree, like there's very little to see at all in these areas, and in and around Peasmore I've been interested mostly in the Harwell lab area. Me too. Covered in your second film. Also, this seems to be the direction of the strange orb lights I kept seeing for months on the end of last year, looking from the village of Longcott. I have had some brief sightings of bright orbs also in April of this year. These things I've also sighted in the direction of Wayland Smithy and the Uffington village area near the strange looking mast. As for the underground base thing, I can't see any real evidence of anything. Thanks, Julian. Julian actually wrote to me, he emailed me, and we talked about this, about the various things he's encountered. Funny enough, he mentions Wayland Smithy and the Uffington village area. My most recent video is from there on YouTube, which is the crop circle one, which will be coming up later. But yeah, so thanks for that to Julian. Sydney Richards says on Peasmore 4, houses for sale could indicate an exodus, or it might indicate money laundering going on. If the houses are changing hands regularly without ever being occupied, it looks more like money laundering. I can put it in a heartfelt plea for steadier camera work. Oh yeah, that says it all. Well, if only you pause it, mate. Otherwise, the notice I'm trying to read is just whipping around faster than I can focus. Great contact, but a headache by the time we got to Betjeman's house. Just saying, mate. Sorry, I'd like to see more of this, but your camera work is driving me nuts. I'm only 15 minutes in, but the shaky cam combined with zooms for the last of an instant, then more shaky cam. Can't cope. All the best. I'm sorry, Sydney. I know. I mean, I should have. I did have the. I mean, perhaps I could at some point invest in some kind of Steadicam, which is better than YouTube's house application, which is useless because it distorts everything. Okay, so I apologise for that. I will endeavour to keep the camera as still as I can in future. Okay, apologies. And as for the houses for sale thing, well, that's interesting. Could be, if there's money laundering going on in the country, that's certainly possible. That is an older video now. UFOs, a reply to Stefan Molyneux. This is from Sydney Richard. It's a long comment. I won't be able to get through it all. But he's made a list of various things here. I hate this sceptical BS, and I have some haranguements that might help. Haranguements. Oh, thanks. The Sagan thing. Oh, totally vulnerable. First look for the word proof. What kind of proof would you say is extraordinary? That's right. The scientific community go, la la la, not hearing, la la la, when it comes. Karl Popper pointed out. Yes. So actually, Stefan, the only proof in reality available to you is at the legal level, and there is more than enough evidence properly presented to be able to do that. It comes in the form of government documents and witness testimony. Exactly, Stefan, that's right. And then Stefan relies so heavily on the argument from incredulity that you could cut in Victor Meldrew's "I don't believe it" every time he circles back around. If you know, or have looked up that phrase in caps, you'll notice to your joy that it's a logical fallacy. And so Stefan bases his entire argument on a logical fallacy, effectively putting paid to his constant affirmations of all his knowledge and logic and philosophy. That's right. He hasn't read Popper, Kuhn or Korzybski, which puts claim to his expertise in philosophy. Oh, right, yeah. Karl Popper incidentally got into an argument with Ludwig Wittgenstein, who was a hospital porter. That's an interesting story, that. And Wittgenstein grabbed a poker from a fire and threatened him. Ben, you're a porter, so I'll confide. I have throat cancer, caught late, not looking good, and my mouth is a ruin. If I could still speak worth a fuck, I'd be getting a camera and editing software, even at my stage of decrepitude. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Sydney. I wish you all the best. You know, it's a nasty thing you've got. And then he says, I like Stefan's stuff on SJWs, with whom, as you imagine, I have no patience. But everything else that pours out of that guy's mouth is arrogant bullshit with nothing to back it up. Well, I think that's a bit over the top, like I said to someone else who commented on Stefan. But yeah, Stefan is not. I think he has a slightly hubristic idea of his own abilities, and he sometimes, like I said, he makes a lot of mistakes, which is why I make these videos and reply to him. Sydney Richard says it on the same video. Oh, best comedy moment in Steph's videos are, of course, aliens will be capitalists. I had tears at this point. And the point where he totally misapplies a wrong-headed idea of relativity to a spacecraft. He imagined travelling at relativistic speed. No, it wouldn't do that. Plus, you clearly don't understand relativity, Stefan. How smug is that guy? Yeah, it's quite funny when he says, the aliens, where are those aliens shopping malls? Yeah. Edwardian lady says on... Oh, this is Peasmore Gate Delta... This is Peasmore... for Delta Gate again, and Random. Now this Random, I can't. It's actually Doffler. I can't get used to his new name. So do you mind if I call you Doffler? Because that's how I know you. Good to know Ben keeps his nose clean. Lol. We've got a view right up his double barrel. Oh, my nose. Oh, wait till I get onto the sky watching video. Yes, I know. Oh God. Lots of discussion about my nose there. And Edwardian lady puts in a laughing face for Doffler. Oh, Peasmore 4 again. Brill Billy says, great investigation, Ben. As you know, so much of this area is restricted access, so you're never going to get close enough to see the vents. England doesn't have the landmass to house an area the size of Area 51, but we must have our own somewhere. Maybe using a drone cam would offer better perspectives. As Google Earth, it's way too easy to edit. Just looking at all the military government facilities within a 50-mile radius of Peasmore, one could speculate it is very well guarded. Well, that's right, Brill Billy. There are large numbers of secret establishments, government establishments within the area. There's the agricultural research facilities. There's RAF Welford. There's all various other places like that. So yeah, it does seem to have that presence there. Matthew Taylor says on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate, good stuff. I've missed these types of videos. I hope you'll make some more. Thanks, Matthew. Have more planned. In fact, Another blonde and I do have further videos planned, so we'll be doing some more work together, hopefully. Right, the Afterlife, a reply to Stephen Molyneux. James Millwood says, I actually am quite pleased you like to listen to you smack down that twat Stephen. Your breakdown on Ben was very eloquent, and you defended the spiritual corner with honours. Stephen is an arrogant prick. His self-obsession is too obvious, and he likes the sound of his own voice. I'm sure he's a paid shill. Well done, Ben. Enjoyed your post. Well, thanks, James. I'm glad you liked it. I don't know about Stephen being a being a paid shill. I think he probably does it for nothing because he just enjoys it. But I'm glad you liked the video. Thank you very much. Fu Man Boobs says on ditch the tinfoil hat. This is my trip to London. Absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence. Well, that's true. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but it's actually very, very true. Fu Man Boobs also says, did you also know that Pope is a robot? Absence of evidence isn't absence. What a fun game to play. The Pope, or not Nick Pope, but the Pope, is a robot, is he? Oh, right. I don't know. Yeah. David Walker says on Peace Before Delta Gate. Interesting video, Ben. Whatever happened to Barry King? He seems to have disappeared from the face of the planet. Has he any new information to add to the subject? Well, Barry King definitely hasn't been around for a while. I think he must be quite elderly now, actually, because he's not young in the early Bases videos. But I've communicated with Barry King. I've spoken to him, not face to face, but online. So he's still around. I don't know what he's doing though. But thanks for the comment there anyway. Peace before Delta Gate. Nymidian Nom says it says minimal disease, not animal. Yeah, actually I made a mistake there. It's not animal disease, minimal disease. There's usually a foot wash and a brush by signs. This is for disinfectant to wash one's boots and wheels to cut down the risk of foot and mouth. Just thought I'd say. Okay, Namidian. I didn't notice that at the time, but when I was editing the video, I noticed that I made a mistake there. It says minimal disease, not animal disease. So thanks for that. 69 Phuket says on Peasmore 4. Funny how the lack of overt security makes it psychologically harder to walk up a path and jump a few gates. Well, I think you're talking about the house I went to outside Peasmore, which is someone else has named as suspicious. Well, I think it may be, if it's private property, you know, I'm not going to go just walking onto people's gardens, things like that, into people's gardens. I didn't know there's anything weird about that house. I just thought it's just a possibility I was investigating. If that's your point, I'm not sure exactly what point you're making, but maybe that's it. On Adam Fantastical Book Reader says on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate, really good video, Ben. I say thanks, Adam. Thanks. Smiley face. Good. It's nice to see Adam back again. Heidi Grady says on Peasmore 4 Delta Gate, right, the obelisk you were thinking of was this. I know we made a mistake. Oh no, yeah. Oh, that thing. Oh right. No, you just showed me something else. Right, because we made a mistake at one point. We spotted the chimney that got power station and thought it was an obelisk. We'll have to check that out. Yeah, well, maybe that's something we're going to do in a future video. I'll have to ask another blonde what she plans. It is down the track where you stopped on the ridgeway. You were looking slightly in the wrong direction. Glad you've done this vid. In the process of watching it now. Thanks, Heidi. Hope you liked it. Heidi Grady said, Welford, that's where I'm saying. There's talk of a hushed-up Bentwaters type incident at Greenham Common in the 70s and 80s, and also strange incidents near Welford around the same time. There's a clear link between the Bentwaters, Rendlesham and Greenham Common, Walford, if you do a little digging. Thanks for the vid, Ben. And by the way, California Farmers actually has a fabulous farm shop cafe called Saddleback Farm. You would have passed it on the B4494. Oh, right. You're a local lady, Heidi. Oh, thanks. Thanks for the information. I've not heard of things of UFO events at Greenham Common. and Welford. However, the link between Bentwaters Woodbridge and Greenham Common is, of course, a nuclear arsenal. Greenham Common was very famous for having some cruise missiles with nuclear warheads. There was a massive protest there all through the 1980s. However, the Bentwaters Woodbridge area had a far bigger storage of nuclear warheads, and that didn't. The protesters left that alone for some reason because it was never publicised. I think that was why. So Greenham Common was kind of a distraction. But thanks for the information on California Farm, much appreciated. Right, this is an old video. Bexley Heath UFO incident. Southeast London, matey. I know. It's. I said it was. See, it used to be Kent. You see, and I think I said this in the video. Actually, if you watch it on a little bit further, because it's the first part, I actually do state that Bexley Heath actually used to be in Kent, but then when the borders changed, Greater London, it became part of Greater London. I think I mentioned that in the video later on. But thanks for the comment, Brian. Right, did Britain start the world wars again? And this is from someone called Can't Be Asked. Iraq won babies in incubators from Bush Senior. Same twist. Yes, exactly. I mean, I make that point. The incubator baby story was exactly the same as the propaganda that was used to start the Great War in 1914. And I make that point in the video. So the trick works, so they decided to use it again. There we are. Right. Peasmore 4 Delta Gate. Adam Surgener says, did they get crop circles of UFO stuff around this place about the time when you and Miss Blonde were? Halfway through the video, Ben, and you had just talked about the black cars and the microclimate and Exodus. Would be a good setting for one of your sci-fi novels. Maybe. I mean, maybe I'm writing the sequel to Roswell Rising at the moment, so maybe. Crop circles. Funnily enough, there was a crop circle appeared not far from where we were filming, and what's more, I've been there and I've done another video about it, so check out that on my channel. But a crop circle appeared at Uffington near the White Horse, which is just a short distance from. It's just slightly north of Peasmore. So yeah, so it could be. It's interesting, but I'm glad hope you're enjoying the video, Alan. Thank you very much. Alan Surgeon also says on the same video, the road you're on is so old, Ben, that records going back show that Dick Turpin got a speeding ticket 2 years before he was done for highway robbery. I can well believe it, Alan. I mean, some of those places we went to visit look like they've not been touched since the Doomsday Book. Helen Tucker says on Ditch the Tinfoil Hat. Fascinating, there are events and anti-conspiracy theorist meeting. Cool tour of London. Thanks, Helen. Yes, it wasn't an anti-conspiracy theorist meeting, but I was very welcome there. The guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name now. But he recognised me. He remembered me from the ASAP Seriously Suspicious conference, and he recognised me. Yeah. And he's a nice chap. I don't mind skeptics. You see, I've got nothing against people who disagree with me. It's just idiots who are rude I can't stand. All right. This is an old video now. Destroying my passport. Interesting news says, you're a free man. Yeah, one which is trapped in his own country. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe. You see, I sometimes think that this video was a mistake. I was being a bit egotistical when I made this video. It was kind of I was being a bit of a false martyr there, and I shouldn't have done it. And it's a bit, well, what point was I trying to make? Maybe I was just being a bit of a big head. Did Britain start the world wars? This is from. Well, there's a long. Edwardian lady put something up 4 months ago, and I've put several comments on here. And this is This is ended with Captain Guck and Bernard Montgomery, who have said. Here we go. The Sadie's things is that the moment Germany falls, the rest of Europe falls too, and that will be the end of Western civilization. Bernard Montgomery says, Britain and the UK has far more blood on its hands. You are joking, aren't you? Are you seriously putting up the way back in the ignorant, superstitious Middle Ages, a handful of people against mass murder of millions? I did not order those murders and was properly enraged by the insult to royal authority. And then Bernard Montgomery says a couple of other things. I think he may be replying to someone I've blocked on Google Plus, actually, because I can't follow all of this. But anyway, Michael Hunt says on Colonel Holt returns to Rendlesham. I keep getting comments on this old video. Adrian Bustinza, in his radio interview, says Larry Warren was out there in the forest with him. He states they got separated. Does this mean Larry Warren is telling the truth after all because Adrian Bustinza didn't see him further? Doesn't mean Larry Warren's claims aren't true. Well, this is it. I mean, Bustinza is actually he's been very cagey. I mean, he made a public statement last year, or really for the first time ever in 37 years. And he confirmed Larry Warren's story. Since then, he's sort of like backed down a little bit. And of course, Larry Warren's detractors are going crazy over it. But Bustinza, I think, just still has a lot of questions to answer. I hope he will speak out some more. And Larry, I know, has been trying to contact him and speak to him. Hopefully we'll get this sorted out. Right, I've got a whole load of... I've had a massive load of comments on a very old video, ASAP Seriously Strange Conference, which is from 2011. And they're from someone called Stephen Criddle. And I've got no idea what he's talking about half the time. I just blitzed London. Can you help with this, please? Oh, God. Stephen Criddle. Ben, all they do is hide the truth. Right, so I'll come back to Stephen Criddle in a little while. I'll go back to Peasemore 4 for the time being. Peasemore 4 Deltagate. The Greek word is ichthys, which means fish. Oh, right, Snarnock. Thank you very much. That's from Snarnock. So it's good. I did ask people, does anyone here speak Greek? Could you let me know what these things mean? And Snarnock, luckily, does. You could have asked the tractor driver why there are so many houses for sale in that area. This is on the same video. We could have done, yeah. I mean, well, it was actually another blonde who went over to speak to the tractor driver. I mean, I didn't. Yeah. The Afterlife, a reply to Stephen Molyneux. David Keith says, Hi Ben, my wife suddenly died a week ago. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, David. Deepest condolences to you. And until I experienced such grief as this, I've never had much thought on the subject, but now the experience I have had in the last week has had a profound effect on me, especially the reaction of my 10-month-old dog that my wife bought is bizarre, whining and howling in our bedroom and looking at one spot every night since my wife passed away has convinced me that he can sense a lot more than we can. Keep it up, Ben. Great show. I love it. Thanks. Thank you so much, says David Keith. And Zachary Lee says underneath, God bless you at this difficult moment in your life. And I can only join in on that. It is a difficult thing, David. I'm very sorry you lost your wife, and it makes me feel very good to think that I might have provided you some comfort with this video that I made, which is The Afterlife, a reply to Stephen Molyneux. And I'll keep up the good work, and that's really nice to know. Thank you. We go back to Peasemore 4 Delta Gate. City Boy 605 says, oh, come on. Love the vids, but please, some things are what they are. I'm not entirely disagreeing, however. A sign on an electrical pole is there for a singular reason. Livestock is a livelihood for certain people and requires strict contamination procedures. I recently rented a Ford Focus. It had darkened windows. Masonic lodges are not secret, but private. But not secret, etc. Alright, well, city boy, you know, I'm a city boy as well. And I don't understand the ways of the countryside. Alright, maybe another blonde, she sort of lives, she's a bit more rural than I am, but maybe I have made a couple of mistakes in that video, I know, okay? But it doesn't mean, like as you said, you're not entirely disagreeing, and I'm not. I mean, we didn't see anything particularly significant, but that doesn't mean it wasn't worth looking into it, and the possibility that there is something we picked up that may come to light later on. So I'm still glad I did that video. I think it was an important video to make. Alright, this is Viceroy's House Film Review. This is another film I've sort of like changed my mind on. It was Oh, it was better. It was not as good as I remember it being. I'll just say here, where can I purchase this film or watch it online? I'll say it must be out on DVD and iTunes, etc. soon. Yeah, it's got to be out. It's probably going to be out for private viewing at some point. It's yeah. I mean, I look back at it and think it's not that good. It was all right. It wasn't bad. It wasn't. I prefer it to that Get Out film. But still, anyway. Hopefully, this person should be able to get it on there soon on YouTube soon. Right. We now move on to another film, another video, this has had a lot of views. It's had almost 3,000 views already, and it's going to be controversial. It is Larry Warren in Rendlesham Forest 2017. But I'm glad I made it. I really enjoyed doing this film. It's almost 3 hours long. It's had over 3,000 views now. Brian Young says, fantastic, thank you for the video. Like all your videos, really informative. From Brian and Sharon. I'll say thanks, Brian and Sharon. Smiley face. Glad you like that. So, next one, right. Insert Pie Now says, good work, Ben, thank you. You're welcome. Smiley face. The Cockmeister says on Larry Warren in Rendlesham Forest, the principal witness? Surely one of the witnesses would be more apt and truthful. Anyone in this subject or any other truth movement issue should be looking for that. The truth. Taking sides over this issue has made many in this genre sound like immature children, and it's deflected from the issue, which is disappointing. Well, I mean, to be fair, Cockmeister, he is the principal witness. This doesn't mean the other witnesses are not important, don't matter, but Larry is the one, I think, who had the... Of all the people who actually saw the craft and saw the object, he's the one who spoke out the most. I mean, other people did as well. Adrian Bustinza also saw the craft and the creatures, but Adrian's been very quiet. He said hardly a word. Larry went public. He went public early on. It's thanks to him that the Holt memo got released and all that. That he is the whistleblower. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not taking sides and all this stuff. Oh, well, I am taking sides in the sense that Larry, especially in the last year, has come across really very, very harsh criticism indeed, which has led to all kinds of things. He's a breakdown of his relationship with Peter Robbins, his co-author of Left of Eastgate, and many, many other things. Okay, I am taking sides in this because I think the people who have been his detractors, the people who have been claiming he's a fraud, he made it all up, he's crazy, he takes drugs, etc., etc. I think those people are wrong. I think it's a false what they're saying. I think they're lying. And I'm saying that, so I am taking a side in this, okay? And I don't think it's immature. I don't think it's childish to do that. And it's not deflecting from the issue in this case. I don't go out my way to get involved in internal truth movement, ufology, politics, but sometimes it's necessary. Okay, so I don't apologise for the position I've taken in this film. I think it needed to be said. Right, Tim Wright said in Larry Warren and Rendlesham Forest 2017. Here we go. It was quite a long conversation here. I just put in a comment. I was stationed at RAF Bentwaters, Woodbridge, 1985 to 1987. All right, Tim. So you were in the RAF, or was it still US Air Force back then? I don't know. But either way, did you hear anything interesting? Did you pick up anything you want to tell us about? If you want to contact me privately, I'll keep what you say in the strictest confidence. And someone else actually says, tell us more. Did you see and hear anything about the event? And someone else underneath says, Lord Kithick says no, because it didn't happen. Yes, it did, Lord Kithick. It happened, all right? It's there in black and white. There's multiple witnesses, documentary proof. It happened, okay? I see. It didn't happen. Well, stupid. What a stupid thing to say. Julian Carver says on Larry Warren and Rendlesham Forest. You got to love Larry. What a great guy. He is, yeah. Would certainly like to meet and chat with him about Rendlesham and his passion for Stevie Ray Vaughan, who's one of my favourite guitar players of all time. Great upload, Ben. Thank you. Love Larry's sharp sense of humour also. Great stuff all round. Thank you, Julian. I'm glad you really liked it. Larry is a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. I know he's had a lot of criticism. People are calling him everything imaginable, but and he is. I mean, he's not perfect, you know. Like all of us, we have our flaws, and he does too. So do I. So do you. But he is a great guy, and he's someone I think he's telling the truth. He had a UFO encounter, and he's telling the truth about it. Clawsome says in Larry Warren and Rendlesham Forest 2017. Great video, Ben. Thanks, Clawsome. Hello, Clawsome. Glad you liked it. It's great to hear from Clawsome again. He regularly comments. He's hopefully coming over to England sometime so I can meet him. Clive Albert says on the Larry Warren video, great video, Ben. I never doubted Larry from the start. I tried to share this on Facebook and got the following error twice. I hope that Dropbox share works okay. I did get on by copying the link and signing into Facebook, but this has never happened to me. So he's provided a link here, which is a screenshot of what's this? Right. It's just where he's been trying to send something by Dropbox. Look, do you want to email me? bennyj74@gmx.co.uk. There's a link in the. Go to the HPANWO TV blog. You can email me there. Okay. So just send me an email, Clive. But I'm glad you liked the video. Thanks. And I'm glad you understand Larry's for real. And I don't know why you've had this problem with Facebook, but please share that information with me. Julian Carver also says on the Larry Warren video. How am I doing it? Oh, need to switch tags. Right. One of the reasons Larry's story works for me, or stands up for me, is his attention to detail, almost photographic memory he seems to have. No way could this guy hold the story together for over 30 years if he was bullshitting. Larry also doesn't show any mental or signs of physical damage from addictions or substance abuse as others claim about him. I've met plenty of bullshitters in my time. None of them could ever hold a story together like Larry. I believe Larry's the real deal. Certain others, including Colonel Holt in this story, are part of the cover-up, deliberately rubbishing Larry's account. Well, yeah, I mean, Julian, it's actually, you walk around the woods with him like I did, me and Tino did. You know, we're very, very privileged to have that personalised tour from Larry, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, someone, to be a liar, you have to have a very, very good memory. In fact, nobody has a good enough memory to be a good enough liar to be able to maintain what he does and not slip up at some point, not produce some kind of inconsistency. Larry doesn't provide any inconsistency at all on this. And he's not a substance abuser. I mean, we spent an entire weekend with him, me and Tino. You know, we were never out of his sight. If he had some kind of addiction, you know, he'd be like that. He'd be slipping off to have a fix behind the, you know, in the toilet or something. He didn't do that the whole weekend. We didn't even have a drop. We didn't have anything to drink. Well, I had a beer from Tino's fridge. Larry didn't have anything. We didn't have any booze. As for Colonel Holt, I mean, whether he's part of some kind of of cover-up, I don't know. But I mean, the way his behaviour is very, very odd. I mean, you'd think that he would go on stage and just talk about his own experiences, and he does. But then, at least a quarter of every show he does is now hating on Larry Warren. And this develops into a conversation. Gary PR says, Julian Carver, I agree with Julian here. Was going to type a comment similar, but he says it all. If Larry's an actor, then he's the greatest actor of all time. He should actually be in films. He comes across as salient and believable. And yeah, it's Michael Hunt says, I'm not sure he's remembered things correctly when showing himself next to the sign saying normal. Larry Warren claims it's obviously winter around the time of the incident, and Ben agrees, saying you can see by the vegetation. We're talking about. I think here we're talking about the. We're actually talking about the. Yeah, we're talking about the A10 photo. Yeah, with the ferns. Larry's wearing a short sleeve shirt. I would suggest in December in England that Larry Warren would never have left the barracks only wearing a short sleeve shirt. Not only would he have looked incongruous and possibly contravened US Air Force dress regulations, but he would have frozen and quite easily got himself ill and unfit for duty. I suggest he was wearing a summer shirt because it was summer. All right, Michael. Well, I'll ask Larry about that. It's possible. It's possible he may have changed into his short sleeve. I mean, he may not have been on duty. He may well have wanted a photo taken of himself and just changed into his short sleeve shirt just to have the photo taken, and just slipped outside and stood there and shivered for a moment while it was taken. I'm not sure. I mean, if he was indoors, he may well have been indoors at certain points and would have been under some kind of uniform regulation. Yet it's possible. Did he have the short sleeve shirt on and then maybe a jacket on top of it? I don't know. I mean, Larry's got some photos of himself in uniform where he has all these very different uniforms and different layers. There's several explanations for this, but that's an interesting question you have brought up. And do you remember Larry actually was there in summer? Larry, to be fair, Larry actually did. He was actually on the base. He continued to be on the base until the following summer. He was there in the summer, actually. I'm actually going to just go back to that, actually. Where are we? Let's just go back to that particular video, because I think I should actually mention here. Where was it? Yeah. I'll put in a little tag here because Michael Hunt, just to let Michael Hunt know, he's raised an important point. That photo could have been taken later on in Larry's service, because Larry was there for a few months. He was there in the summer. He was there in the summer of 1981 until sometime in the summer of 1981. Right. Julian Carver says, all right, this is. I think Colonel Holt was instructed from day one. He's got to be one that blurs the story between fact and fiction. People high up told Holt, "You will keep control on this story, so the facts remain nothing more than strange light and beams in the sky." I don't know what Colonel Holt's knowing role is in this, Julian. To be honest, I mean he's. I know that Holt. You see, Holt did say that something happened. Of course, Holt himself had an experience, and he talks about it quite openly. So if he's trying to keep the story under wraps, then he's not doing a very good job. I'm not actually sure. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, but there's no doubt. I mean, the way he goes on about Larry is just a bit silly, and it does make you wonder. It does make you wonder when he goes on and on about Larry. It's a bit stupid. I don't know exactly what's going on. Right. This is on the Larry Warren video. Steve C says, "Hello 360p, it's been a while." I think this is part of a conversation. No, it's not. I don't know what he's on about. It's hello 360p, it's been a while. I don't know, what does that mean? Right, Ian T. Johnston says, Larry Warren, on the Larry Warren video, "I can't believe he came back to the UK and met E.T. again." Yvonne, that old lady who met Yvonne. Yeah, she's like E.T. Oh, she's sweet. She's very nice, that lady. She invited us in. Larry signed her book. She's very, very good of her, yeah. Brill, Billy says on the Larry Warren video, "Enjoyed that, mate. In a way, I feel sorry for Larry Warren, as he was always sidelined. It was always Colonel Holt and Sergeant Jim Penniston that made the headlines." That, I can see what you mean. I mean, because it's true. I mean, Larry Warren didn't get the credit he deserved until later on, after Left at Eastgate came out. Because to begin with, it was Colonel Holt, Penniston, Burroughs. They were the ones who were in the news all the time. And when I first heard about this story, it was them. It was through them. Larry Warren I only came across later on, but that did change when Left at Eastgate came out, I think. Stuart T says on Larry Warren. Now this is the big thing. Now, this is somebody actually emailed me about this, and this is actually incredible. Did you know that Charles Holt was in Suffolk as well last week? And he's deleted his video. He's deleted his comment. Sorry, he's deleted the comment. But this is actually true. This is incredible. Someone actually put a comment there. Ben, email me, and I emailed him. He says, "Yes, Colonel Holt was there at the same time." And I thought, what? And he was actually there the following. I think he was actually there the following day. This is really, really weird. And I had no idea this was happening. But Colonel Charles Holt was actually in the country, and he paid a visit to Rendlesham Forest on Sunday. So he came to Rendlesham Forest the day after Larry and Tino and I went round and made that film. We had no idea that was happening. Just think we could have bumped into him. Great video, Ben. I'm thinking this was the weekend the 13th and 14th. Yeah, because ironically Holt did the trip on the 20th and 21st. Now apparently he did it the following day. But yeah, I mean there was this is interesting here. This is a page from the East Anglian Daily Times, and it has Holt there at the forest, basically going around doing pretty much the same thing that Larry and Tino and I were doing. And there's a photo of him with a group of people there, John Hanson and Dave Young and a couple of other people. Yeah, and he's basically going around on this tour again, like he did in 2015 when we went round with him and I filmed him. So that's interesting, that, yeah. But thanks for that, badge 51, yeah, because I just when I first heard about this, I heard it from someone else. All right, but when I first heard about it, I couldn't believe it. And someone else says this, and yeah, this is just a reply to Tim Wright when he said he was stationed there at RAF Wet Bentwell's Woodbridge. Now Daniel the Spaniel, good old Dan Bostock. Please do check out his music. He's got some really good. I'll put you a thanks, Dan. He says, total shame you couldn't get through the fence. You could do with a drone for this. And on the Notts Roswell site. That's right. Great video. Thanks, Dan. Good idea. Yeah. That's an interesting thought, actually, getting a drone to investigate the Notts Roswell thing. Yeah. Because Daniel, if you remember from my Notts Roswell videos, Daniel the Spaniel, that's Dan Bostock, he actually acted as a tour guide and provided transport and a lot of information about that particular event during the Notts Roswell thing. So much appreciated, Dan. Yeah. Jorge Rodriguez said on Larry Warren, great video, Ben. Amigo, I'll say thanks, Jorge. Smiley face. Now, yeah. So that's. Now this is Jorge says on the Larry Warren video, Viva Uruguay, Viva Luis Suarez from Australia. The zombie. The zombie man. Yes, Luis Suarez. He bites people. That's right, yeah. Mark Porritt says, yeah. Oh, he's deleted his video. He's deleted his video. Oh, Mark Porritt says here anyway, I love tagging along on your adventures. Thanks, Mark. I'm glad you come along with this. I mean, I do like to give people a sense of presence in these particular videos. So this is why I'm glad you like them, Mark. I know you've been missing these kinds of videos. I'll try and do some more for you. Peaky Poo says, Warren is not the principal witness as the video claims. That would be John B. Warren. Is just a drunk who joined in on the story. I don't know who. That would be John Burroughs. Oh, sorry, there's a comma. Warren is just a drunk who joined in on the story. No, he's not. He's not. John Burroughs had an experience as well. I'm not denying that. I've interviewed John on my video, on my radio show. But Warren he's not just a drunk who joined in on the story. That's not true. You just believe in the flannel that's been told about him lately. Right, I've got a comment on a video, a very old video, from 2012 this is. This is Ben Emlyn-Jones live at the David Icke discussion group. Yeah, this is a really old video I did. Here we go. David Keith says, Ben, keep it up, mate. You're very good at public speaking and you have a very kind and likeable persona. I hope this leads to something good for you, mate. I'm sure it will. Thanks, David. Thank you. It's nice you watching this old video. This is a video I made on the 30th of January 2012. This was just after I got kicked out of the hospital, and I'm talking about my experience of being kicked out by the hospital. It's a four-part video. I spoke for an hour at the David Icke discussion group in London. I remember it was very nice. I think this was one of my first public speeches actually. My contact times says on the Larry Warren video, Larry if you're passing through West Yorkshire any time when doing a south-north trip, buzz me and we can sort a chat sometime. Got some ideas to put your way, but we also need to keep the north of England on the map as far as southern events locations. I'm going to edit this actually. I'm going to make it I'll pass that on. I'll pass that on to Larry. Cheers. Smiley face. I'll let Larry know that Contact Times wants to speak to him. Right. What I made a note down here. What was it? Yeah. Notes. Where am I? Yeah. Hot was in relation to. That's it. Yeah. Where am I? Okay. I'm almost at the 2 hour point. 1 hour 30 to 2 hour on this one at the moment. Copy. I'll just another. Wafer, sorry, not water, says, awesome! This is on Larry Warren. Cool that you were there with Warren this time, and that you also were there with Holt last time. Luckily, I'm visiting Rendlesham Forest in a few weeks' time. Oh, great. Well, have a good time, Wafer. Enjoy yourself in Rendlesham Forest. It's really a beautiful place. But that's true. I mean, like I said, my little trip with Larry was kind of an antidote to the what should have been a wonderful time turned into a pretty awful time in 2015. With Colonel Holt. Yeah, that was sad. Right, Mark Porras says on Larry Warren, I'll put in a little tag. Very good episode this one, Ben. Firstly, that old lady's synchronicity was amazing. Secondly, having seen Larry discussing the Rendlesham Forest incident in depth and sharing his memories of his time at the base, I'm now thinking he does appear to be genuine sincere, rather that he is a very good pathological liar. And then photos he shared with us certainly indicates that he was part of the Bentwaters team. That's right, Mark. He's not a liar. I tell you, no one has that good a memory. Also, you said the synchronicities of the real thing. Carl Jung was correct. I agree. Little anecdote for you. My dad bought a complete sessions of the Edgar Wallace mysteries on DVD. One of the DVDs there was a bonus section. There was a special movie called Seven Keys. In Seven Keys, there was something in the sky behind the main protagonist in this particular scene. It looked like a UEP, but I couldn't get to the bottom of it. I've shared it on my Facebook wall, this picture on the photo. Now, the following day, my dad was out walking to the shops, and lo and behold, guess what he sees lying on the ground? A bloody keychain and keys. So we watched the movie called Seven Keys. We see the UAP on Seven Keys, and then my dad sees keys lying on the ground the following day. This is surely not a coincidence. It's synchronicity. Yeah, I mean, that is amazing, Mark. That's rather like the scarab beetle story, which Carl Jung talks about. It's beyond coincidence, in other words. And Phil Hainsworth says, can you PM me, please? Quite interesting to talk to you about a few things. I did. I PM'd Phil, yeah. So thanks for that, Phil. I did add you on Facebook. Michael Park says on Peasmore 4, my favourite YouTube channel, keep them coming, chap. Thanks, Mark. Much appreciated. And Ghostly Goings On. Right, this is Ghostly. This is a video I did with Don Phillips, and Phil Hainsworth says this is very close to me. This is the pub I was in at this place in near Leicester that I went and spent the night with Don Phillips. Me and Astain went there and had a night looking for ghosts. Well, that's amazing. Have you heard any ghost stories from there, Phil? Right, my new video in more copyright trouble, which is a video I did a couple of months ago now. I've got a comment here from Michael Hunt. You should show Ritter's teleportation video. He teleports live on a Brazilian telly. Don't know where he went, but he disappeared. He doesn't seem to teleport anymore. I'm sure you'd have any trouble from him. His teleportation film is quite ludicrous. It's astonishing that such a hoaxer is still out there lying through their arse. Okay, well, I've covered that. You mean Rutter? You mean Dr. Jonathan Reed? Yeah, I've done an entire video on Dr. Jonathan Reed. I don't believe what he's doing. I do believe his story is true about the alien. Some of his activities since then have been questionable, and I do wonder if he's under some kind of control. And the Brazilian thing was faked. I know it was a completely fake thing. Okay, but this shouldn't discredit the truth about his alien experience, which I think was real. Daniel the Spaniel says on Peasmore 4, the Greek letters I think is a halo. I'm not sure though. The letter X is halo, not sure. Thanks, mate. Good old Dan, thanks. Another. A lot of people speak Greek, which is nice. I can't speak a bloody word of it. Right, UFO Disclosure 2017, what about Britain? Andy Dunny says, here we go. Ben the JR Porter, he just says my name. I don't know why that is. Sorry, I don't understand why he's done that. Michael Hunt says, on Larry Warren, Larry, friend to the stars, John Lennon, Stevie Ray Vaughan, these are photos. Right? Yeah, I mean there's a lot of question marks over his photos and things like that. Larry has explained his photos. I mean this is a big long story, but I've done the radio shows about this with Larry, where he talks about he's been accused of all kinds of things, fraud, deception, lying, etc. I've done a video about that. I've done a radio show about that. Michael Hunt says on Larry Warren, oh dear, did I speak too soon? Oh, where am I now? I was looking for Larry's photos with SRV and came up. The fellow who wrote it is SRV's biographer, Stevie Ray Vaughan, that's it. And Stevie Ray Vaughan came up. Is this mistaken identity? Another Larry Warren. I first read Left at Eastgate years ago, and I've always thought Larry was an upright type. In fact, quite a charismatic fellow. I'm bamboozled. And he provides a link to, and this is open letter to Stevie Ray Vaughan, fans and memorabilia collector. I don't know what this is about. Right, next comment. Right, this is Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world, and this is by Eagland. Oh, some comments waiting to be published. I'll just approve those. Start again. Eagland says, this is the thing that the police and courts do when they don't like you. They will lie in court and they get away with it because courts are crooks, and they still do it today. Well, I know very well, Eagland, that Helen Duncan is not the only person who's been a victim of judicial corruption by far. Arak Sipum says, there's a whole load of comments here by Arak Sipum. Thank you, Ben. Where is your upcoming reply to video? Well, anyway, very soon, RWB, because that's Roaring Water Bay, coming up very soon. Right. Oh, Stephen Criddle. Here we go again. Okay, this is Stephen Criddle has done. I'll put a whole load of comments on my ASAP Seriously Strange conference videos, and I had a look through some of these earlier, and I'm not quite sure what they meant, what he's actually meaning. He says a lot of strange things. Hi Ben, I went to Hatton Gardens this week and called entities all over the ASAP offices. Loads of vids up so far. Right. Afterlife. Okay. Well, that's just Zachary replying to the guy who lost his wife. Thank you so much. David Keith, that's it. Gary PR says here on... this is a reply to... Basically, this is just a comment between various... This is just a discussion between Julian Carver and Michael Hunt. And Gary PR just says he agrees with Julian. Yeah, okay. Right. And a comment on a new video. Now, it's an older video, but it's a first comment on this video for this month. DVDs on my shelf. Very watchable, thanks. I'll say you're welcome. Rigger Parish. You're welcome, RP. That's nice. Right, Get Out film review. Here we go. This is another comment on this. Gary PR says, I turned up the volume at the last part where somebody shouts something and they definitely say YouTube to you, lol. Wonder what this was all about. Oh right, I think somebody recognised me. I suppose I'm not exactly a celebrity, but in the local area. But sometimes people come up saying, "Oh, you're the guy on YouTube who lives in Oxford, yeah, you know." And they say, "Oh, it's happened to me a couple of times." I think they might have recognised me. That's all. But yeah. James Millward says on Larry Warren, "Very interesting, Ben. I enjoyed this. Thanks, JM." Smiley face. Right, 5 minutes to go. I'll have to change tags. All right, here we go. Sky watching in Devon. New video that I've just first comment on a new video. Craig Walsh says, "Pile shite." What does that mean? Do you mean it's a pile of shite? I mean, pile shite, or do you suffer from piles, hemorrhoids when you're taking a shite? I mean, what do you mean, Craig? Please learn a bit of grammar and pronunciation, people, will you? Right, Sky watching in Devon, and this is from Safety Man 460458. "You always make me smile, Ben. Nice stuff. Always love your passion and enthusiasm for the subject matter." Oh, thanks, SM. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I had fun making this video. I'm glad I went there to Devon, even though I was like up all night Thursday night. We had a great time. Me and Diana had a lovely time. Sky watching in Devon. Insert pie now says, "Oh dear, 2 hours of your nostril and a pitch black view of the night sky. That's good." Oh, of course, my nose. Here we go. Here comes the comments about my nose. I'll be waiting for these. I knew, as soon as I was editing it and I saw the pic, I thought, oh my god, someone's going to comment on my nose, aren't they? Here we go. Right. Ben's nostril junk by now. Oh right, it is Emperor Mong on Sky watching in Devon. I should say now what it was. I had no idea, but I had like a loose bogey up my nose. I was filming, and in the low light camera, you can see it. It's like this big white thing hanging in my nose. Oh god, that's embarrassing. Right, here we go. Right, George Dawes saying, "Ask Kip's Clips why he and his good buddy Society of the Spectacle won't discuss how the Twin Towers were really destroyed. Gatekeepers confirmed." What's that got to do with anything? Okay, I'll just put a tag there. I'm going to have to change tags in a moment. Kip Clips. Oh, he does these live hangouts. He's done one with Jam Noise. Johnny. Right, this is from Johnny Shitcock and his nuclear-powered piss pot. That's the name of the user. Kip Clips is calling you a cunt on his channel. Is he? Why is Kip Clips doing that? Is he? Is he really? Oh, that's weird. Okay, I don't... Okay, I'm going to move on now. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, I've always got on with Kip. I've never had a problem with him. Edwardian Lady says, "Confirmed your sighting of a UFO up Ben's nostril." Love you, Ben, and your enthusiasm. Thanks, Edwardian Lady. I know. Oh, that's embarrassing. Next time I use that infrared thing, I'm going to have to like blow my nose or stick tissue up there or something. Because I do have these big nostrils here. I have these big like flared nostrils things, you know. I don't know. My brother doesn't have them, you know. Maybe I'm his brother, but you know, maybe I'm a clone or a ET hybrid or something. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Right, Andrew UFO Bradley says, "Get a Nikon P900 and zoom in." Oh, that's like a... Yeah, you get... To do sky watching, really, you need proper cameras, the kind of thing that Win Keach has. My own camera was not really... I mean, my intention really wasn't to show you what I was seeing. It was more like to act as a kind of commentary. No, not another blonde. Diana has, like, a camera. she's actually gathered some proper footage that time, and she's going to have it transferred to a computer at some point, and perhaps we can do like another video about that. Safety Man says, all right, oh well, this is talking about he's talking about what Kip has been saying. Well, apparently Kip has been saying this. I don't know. I didn't hear Kip saying this. He hasn't said anything to me. He sends me. I still get notices. I still follow him on Google Plus, and I get notices when he's doing a hangout. Oh, hey, Gary Robinson says sky watching in Devon. I see there's already a few people criticising and taking the piss in the comments, but I have to say I really enjoyed this video. You should try getting a few more UFO peeps for a bigger session, and maybe interact it with some general UFO talk. That would make for a great video, or even a series of videos that could blend sky watching with general UFO chit chat. Well, actually, Gary, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, I'd be up for that, certainly. I'll just change tags. 2 hours now this video's been going. So thanks for the idea. Gary PR also says on Sky Watching in Devon, daytime stuff was fantastic in this vid. I'm like you, Ben. I get misty-eyed over English countryside and little villages too. Nighttime stuff, not so good. But then camera limitations can't be blamed on you. Oh, thanks, Gary. Yeah, I mean, I'd like, ideally, if I had proper like equipment, like David, like I said, Wayne Keach and David Griffin has, that would make for a much better video. The little village. I mean, it was Gandhi. Actually, it was Mahatma Gandhi who said, you know, the village is where it's kind of like it's where indigenous culture can be preserved, even when there's a foreign occupier in your country. In his case, he was talking about the British Empire. But you see, what happened with India was basically, if you went into the towns and cities in India when it was part of the British Empire, you know, the British presence was everywhere, because we put up our government buildings and stuff like that. Some of the architecture you can still see to this day in cities in India, which are very British style. Looks all very British. You go to the village, but the traditional indigenous Indian culture was preserved in the villages, and Gandhi regarded the village as the centrepiece of Indian society. And I would say the same for Britain as well. I would say that the villages these little villages will be very important in years to come, when we have to rebuild our nation. The villages can show us the way. The people and the cultures and the memory, the folk memory that exists in villages, I believe can basically maybe teach those of us who've lost our connection with our past because of the Illuminati occupation, and maybe take a role in the healing and reconstruction of British culture. I hope. Julian Carver says in Sky Watching in Devon, good stuff, Ben. You definitely have some strange sightings in the sky at times. Very similar to some of the stuff I've seen here in my village of Longcott. I'm also lucky out here, as Longcott village also has no streetlights. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Julian. And you know what? It's true. I mean, what you described is very similar to what I saw. The roving, the orange lights that kept moving around. It's really incredible. Like I said, like the last commenter said, it'd be wonderful if I could get hold of the right equipment. Maybe go down there with a Wayne Keach or something, a guy who's got the right equipment, and produce some really good material. Zaen says on Jonathan Reed and Rendlesham Forest, I get the impression his experiences. Hang on, there's a big long conversation here between various people. It goes back a whole year. This is Jonathan with me now, but now I'm sure he has to do the same with others. He wanted to be on the pill. That was a crazy thing. I don't know what this is about. Sorry, this is a long conversation. I've got no idea. Who is this person? I don't know. No, I think I'm gonna have to maybe categorise the Jonathan Reed video in the same way as I do, for instance, the Paul McCartney video and the Job Centre videos. Just too many comments. I can no longer reply to them because there's just too many, so I can't include them in these comments reply videos. I'm going to have to include the Jonathan Reed one in that, I think, and it won't let me delete. What's up with this? Hang on, my email's going funny. This happened last time, didn't it? Do you remember? My email went a bit strange. Okay, now delete. That's better. Right, Odd Job Dude on Jonathan Reed says, sorry dude, if Alistair Crowley wasn't so inferior and his receded hairline skull on lad, you would have never had a grey alien garbage to gossip and hustle. So, his receded hairline skull on LSD, you wouldn't have had a grey alien garbage to gossip. What are you talking about? Odd Job Dude, I've got no idea what you're talking about. Right, ASAP seriously, oh here we go, Stephen Criddle has said, he's put about a dozen comments on here. Ben, I just shredded the ASAP. ASAP seriously strange. Oh, here we go. Oh, he's got a channel. And he's got here a video, it's a 6-minute video, and I think this is the ASAP 14, the Shredders, and there's a picture of like orbs, there's a photo of orbs, and there's a building behind. I don't know what that's about. Okay, well thanks Stephen. Stephen Criddle says, Ben, why do you refuse to answer what I called over the ASAP headquarters in many vids? Why won't you help spread the truth? I have aliens in Stonehenge, the visitors. And I said, what are you talking about? I do the paranormal, mate. I've seen Hatton Gardens and called the interdimensionals over the headquarters. Honestly, check my channel on the Stonehenge visitors. 14 vids of ASAP. Ben, what you're about to come? You're about to become famous if you play your cards right. Don't worry if I'm friendly. I just blitzed all of London, Big Ben, Buck, Palace, Cardiff, Stonehenge, Avebury, all my local areas. He's put a whole load of comments on here, Stephen. Ben, what are you talking about? Any news, Ben? I haven't had a comment worldwide for days apart from the dust trolls. Well, Stephen, I can't keep commenting. I can't reply to your comments straight away. Please be patient. That's why I do these videos. I want to reply to people's comments, but I just don't. I don't have time. You just got to be patient with me, all right? I'm getting so many now. All right. It's just. I'm just going through the Stephen Criddle ones. This is on the ASAP Seriously Strange videos. Right, it's Tino says on Sky. This is not Tino who went to Random Frost. This is another one. Ben, those lights you see close to the horizons may be Earth lights. You should do a show with Paul Devereaux or Andrew Collins. Oh, actually, that's interesting. Because Paul Devereaux talks about these Earth lights like ball lightning and things like that. And Andrew Collins, he's another interesting chap. He talks about the pyramids and the Sphinx and things like that in Egypt. He also does that thing to do with St Friedwide's Church. Remember that my video on St Friedwide's? And Contact Times says underneath, that was Jenny Randall's cop-out claim after 2 years and 3 books later on a wider region. Now that's what Contact Times is talking about here is the Berwyn Mountains incident. Jenny Randall's was on TV doing this ridiculous documentary where Scott Felton was in it and they cut him out. He was interviewed and they wouldn't even put him in it. But Jenny Randall's is like there the whole time. Him and her and Andy Roberts is like there. It's just like they're the stars of the show. And Randall says, oh, it was just Earth lights they saw at Berwyn Mountains. The lights in Hessdalen. Now the Hessdalen lights are interesting because these are up in Norway. Terry Toffness has done a documentary about this. He's a Norwegian ufologist. And what's seen at Hessdalen is very similar to what I saw. Maybe magnetic Earth phenomena, but if you get repeated form of interaction or communication, they're outside the paradigm. If these silent but huge objects arrive at your location and then follow you home, I'm thinking this is something other than magnetic phenomenon. That's interesting. I don't know what I saw. What I saw could be magnetic phenomenon of some kind. It may be Earth lights that Paul Devereaux talks about. I don't know. I'm just reporting to you what I saw. I saw these orange lights that kept appearing and flashing. I saw one of them. I saw from 2 different angles on 2 consecutive nights. They didn't appear the 3rd night, which was a shame because we had the Highway and Paranormal people there and they never saw them. But Jenny Randall's is making a cop out with Berwyn Mountains. I've done a whole video on this with Scott Felton. Scott has done a very good film with Richard D. Hall about this. Right. Earth lights, says Tino. Right. Tino says, Earth lights are apparently conscious plasma sentience which can affect the pineal and generate perceived entities, craft and other various phenomena. Well, it could be. It could be Tino. Yeah. Oh, here's Mark Criddle again, Stephen Criddle again. Love it, says Adam. Fantastical book reader. I'll say cheers, Adam. I'm glad. Right, there we go. Cool, this is going to be a long video. Jorge Rodriguez says, Ben, this was good. Keep it up, amigo. Thanks, Jorge. Will do. Smiley face. Now, how much time? Oh, I've only got half an hour left on the chip. I'll have to change camera chips at some point. Right, well, I've got a video. I've got a comment on Professor Brian Cox Hates You, which is it's my comedy video about Professor Brian Cox. Hope you got it pants on. Hope you got it pants on this time, Ben. Lol. From Larry's Moron Vid in RF. What? Something to do with Rendlesham Forest. I don't know what you're talking about. Got my pants on this time? I've got my pants on. What are you talking about? That's Martin Pratt, who might live up to his name. Xylomet Outland. Ah, Xylomet. Now this is the first comment on my video Syntheo, my Syntheo's Day video 2017. That's what it's called. Syntheo's Day 2017. Xylomet Outland says, very good video. Enjoyed the history of the JRH, Ben. The indoctrination you talk about, which various people give various names, is dividing the workforce into disjointed predatory environment, which is good for business and bad for supportive workforce. It's an atmosphere of smiles and accommodation that disguises fear of losing one's job and expressing a free-minded point of view, which it also does is disempower individuals. What is more disturbing to me is the issue of difference was a natural interaction between people without corporate barriers and forced behaviour. This leads to a double bind, namely that the animosity that is created falls on various groups. Oh, they love highlighting groups and groups of people. Sadly, equally feel to be part of that special group, and not the think tanks that create them. The group that is the flavour of the month, year, epoch to marginalise often then attacks the opposite groups out of frustration, out of disempowerment. It's a very clever game, one that all groups, self-professed or otherwise, will be subjugated by. I have sat through many attempted indoctrination sessions, which are now called mandatory training, both in NHS and private sectors. Same script. It is advised to take a sick bag and remain composed in such horrible places. Quite so, Xylomet. Xylomet actually works in the NHS as well. I won't say what he does, but yeah, he's seen this from the inside too. So thanks, Xylomet. Yeah. Jaime Fairman says on Syntheo's Day, thanks again, Ben, for this heartfelt episode. I'll say you're welcome. Smiley face. Right, Xylomet Outlands. Xylomet Outlands says on Larry Warren, enjoyed this, Ben. Best regards to all involved in the video. I'll say thanks, X, in the video. Thanks, X. Smiley face. Good old Xylomet. Xylomet's always puts interesting comments on things. Gab Gab says on also a very old video. This is the Pringles video. Right. Can you please get an education before uploading anything? No. Why should I get an education? Education in what? It's very simple. You just plug the camera in and you press upload on YouTube. You don't need an education for that. If that's your point. If you're being sarcastic, then I shall choose to ignore your sarcasm. Julian Carver says, good upload, Ben. I love your heartfelt honesty as ever. I can also relate to being in a single workplace for many years. I spent 18 years working in the same factory until it eventually closed down and went into liquidation. Many memories, good and bad. Thanks, Julian. And I'm sorry you, after 18 years, you lost your workplace, because the workplace is kind of becomes an identity. It becomes like a kind of, it does become a kind of community, which is. It becomes a form of identity. It's not just hospital portering where you get this this sense of identity. And I've got 26 minutes left on the chip. Okay, Ben, this is S. Simpson writing on the Larry Warren video. Has Adrian Bustinza ever come back to Rendlesham to talk about his experiences? No, he hasn't. Bustinza has been very, very quiet. He's only made a couple of public statements. He's made a few comments on social media. He has done a radio interview. He's done one radio interview in 37 years. So no, he has not. He's been very quiet. Right, Snarnock says on St. Theo's Day, have you ever considered writing a book about your career as a hospital porter after you publish your Roswell sequel? Well, you know, I have actually. Someone actually, funny enough, someone who listens to HPANWO Radio suggested I write a book about skeptics after I've done my Roswell sequel. This is another idea about my hospital portering career. Yeah, I mean, well, in a sense, my first novel, Evansland, includes a lot of the themes within the hospital portering service in it. But a complete book about my hospital portering career would be it'll be quite a challenge, but I think I'm up to it. However, I've got to write the bloody Roswell sequel first. I can't think about anything until I finish that. Okay. Arthur Matchell says on Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world, the story would make a good movie. Very interesting time in World War II. Well, Arthur, there is something in the pipeline. I mean, Margaret Hahn, my friend who is Helen's granddaughter, is working on that with a group of people. She's got together with a group of people and she's working on producing some kind of film. I mean, I actually went to her and I had an idea of writing a novel or something, a novelisation of her, a fictionalisation of her story, and I approached Margaret with the idea. I said, this is something I could do. I could write a fictional account of your gran, and she said, don't worry, Ben, someone else is doing that right now. So I thought, okay. So there may be a film of some kind coming up. There was Channel 4 actually did a partly fictional story, documentary, part fiction, of Helen Duncan, where Elaine Smith, the Scottish actress, played Helen. It was quite good actually. It was pretty good. Right. Roswell reveal trailer. First comment on a new video. This is from Chill943. Looks great. Can't wait for this. Thanks, Chill. Well, I mean, it's going to take a while. It'll be a few months. I should actually mention, when I put this trailer up, it doesn't mean the book's almost finished and it'll be out soon. No, what I meant was I'm working on it now and it's going to take a few months. Now, I'm basically doing the same thing I did with Roswell Rising. So I'm going to have to, I'm just going to have to just do what I can in that respect. All right, I'm just going to have to do what I can in that respect to do the best I can with them. To get it done as soon as I can, which I'm working on it now. Alright, there we go. Right, up upon the catwalk says, here we go. Surprise, surprise, another one making money off Roswell. What's your point? How much money do you think I make off my books? And Fu Man Boob stands up for me. Thanks, Fu Man. Fu Man Boob says, at least Ben is someone with a genuine interest and insight into these subjects. I prefer Ben making money off it than some shill who's only in it for the money. Hope he makes a shed load. Thanks, Fu Man. Oh, you're wonderful. Thank you. Mwah. That was very good of you to say that. Thanks for standing up for me. This Upon the Catwalk 2012 sounds like a bit of a dickhead, to be honest. Another one making money off Roswell. He's probably read Mark Pilkington's book, which is Mirage Men, where... What is it? Pilkington has a bit of a rant at all the museums and the UFO exhibitions in Roswell and stuff like that. Well, okay. Well, look, I'll tell you what. Go to Stratford-upon-Avon and tell them to get rid of all their Shakespeare stuff. Because what's Roswell doing, apart from basically exploiting their own history for their own prosperity? Is that illegal? Did the Communist Party take power in the night? When's it been wrong to turn a penny off your own talents? Twat. Thanks, Fu Man. I appreciate you sticking up for me, mate. I really do. Ludacris. Hello, Luda. He says, good vid, we'll watch later. Thanks, mate. Good to hear from you again, Ludacris. That's it. Thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers. 69 Phuket says, this is on Roswell revealed, the trailer. But Ben, the Earth is flat. There is an impenetrable membrane over it. I'm pretty sure the whole ET thing is just another bogeyman. I've seen maps of supposed aliens on the slab, etc. Any 5-year-old kid could knock them out. Time to get real, Ben. There is no space. Phuket. Don't tell me you're another flathead, are you? Another bloody flatty. Now, I've got nothing personal against flatties. I've got flatties who are friends. Alright. But I think the Earth is round. Okay, the Earth is a sphere. It hangs in an infinite universe. It floats in space. Okay, I'm afraid I am a well and truly die-in-the-wool globalist. I've done an entire radio show on the flat Earth thing. I really did. I've even mentioned it on here, actually, on HPANWO TV. Sandra DeRoy, hi darling. Sandra DeRoy, who is really, really nice. Amazing, sweetheart. I can shoot, edit for you an alternative version for free if you like. I say thanks, Sandra. Much appreciated. Sandra comes up in one of another video soon. Okay, so I've done a whole video with Sandra, which I uploaded after this one, I think. So thanks, Sandra. Right, Craig Walsh has written Naghash, and there's $3 signs. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Craig Walsh, I only speak English, I'm afraid. Oh yeah. GS Evolved says on Sky Watching in Devon. How am I doing for time? Yeah, right. Great upload, Ben. Very interesting sight and intriguing occurrences in the skies. Agree, there is a sentimental value to throw back to the days of old. Yeah. Keep up the good work. Unfortunately, there have been some personal issues taking up a majority of my time this past month, but I'm trying to get caught up on all the videos I've missed. Ah, fair enough, GS, but thanks very much. I'm glad you enjoyed that, and yeah, it was emotionally intense, I think, being in this lovely rural area of Devon, a place I've never been to before, really. I've been through it, but I've never been to it before, and I had a lovely time there. So I'm really, really grateful for Diana for taking me. We had a really, really good weekend. So really appreciate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop at the 2-hour third, just to make the tags easier. So that's GS Evolve done. And Peasmore, GS Evolve says on Peasmore, another great one, Ben. You're right, time is better spent elsewhere until new evidence or information comes to light. Thanks, GS. Yeah, I was explaining that this will probably be my last Peasmore video. It's my 4th and probably last Peasmore video, unless I have reason to make a 5th one. Right, Stephen Criddle says on ASAP Seriously Strange, cowards. What's he talking about? I don't know what this bloke is on about. Right, another comment on my video, Free Energy, a reply to Reactionary Expat. Zachary Lee says, Reactionary Expat talks a lot of sense. He's from Melbourne. He does. Oh, bugger off. So I've never been to Melbourne. I've been to Australia, but I've never been to Melbourne when I was there. Right. Roswell. Right. Wild Witch. Oh, bless, it's Wild Witch. Looks good. This is about my Roswell reveal trailer. Thank you, Wild Witch. Check out Wild Witch Ramblings' channel. She's lovely. She's a lovely lady. She just does gothic stuff and things like that. And she's really sweet and she's really interesting. And she talks sense. She's into a lot of these kinds of paranormal, conspiratorial, UFO type subjects. And she's done what she's talked about her bookcase. She's done her own film of books on her shelf. Very, very interesting lady indeed. Dennis Perrin says on Did Britain Start the 2 World Wars? Pity this recording is so poor. Yes, look, I'm very sorry about that, Dennis, but this particular shoot was a bad one. And as I explained in the video, the guy, Dennis, who runs the Beatnik bookshop, we walked in there expecting to have a proper speech where Nick will be standing up and I'd be able to film him from below or from the side. and the audience would be in front of him. Instead, they had it stuck around a bloody table, and I thought it was really annoying. Didn't expect that, and it's not ideal. We're probably not going to use that venue again because he's just such a miserable bastard. He really is, Dennis. I'm afraid he is. Yeah. Sky watching in Devon. Fu Man Boobs says, Earth lights are apparently conscious plasma sentience that can affect the pineal. Alright, no, that's going back. Here we go. They're actually pixie lights sent from the underground base of magical pixies who dance around glowing embers and release plasma energy from their little wands. A bit like glow sticks, but like gas. Well, Fu Man, I think some people, a skeptic might think you're being sort of like you're not being serious, but I think you probably are, knowing what I do about your ideas. And well, pixies, what's pixie other than a name for some kind of etheric entity? And these things are real. I do believe they are real things. How am I doing for time? Now, for 5 minutes and I'll change the chip. James Millwood says on St. Theo's Day, I like your videos, Ben. This was particularly heartfelt. It's clear how you loved your job, and it's a shame you lost your career in the NHS, but maybe not. It's not the same place. My fiancée was a nurse, and she had to leave because of the stress and back injury. I imagine you were a great porter, and it's their loss. But you have a new calling now. You need a better camera, though. I hope this abundance finds so you can update. Perhaps a GoFundMe would help. I value your videos and the human expression you share with us. It helps us all to be a bit more human. Keep up the great work, Ben, and thank you for your positive and reflective contribution in a world so full of negativity. The NHS don't need you, we do. Thanks, James. That's a lovely thing to say. And I agree with you. I mean, I've talked about, I actually talk in the video about me being kicked out of my job, about being kicked out of portraying, and yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's for the best. And on reflection, it's probably a good thing it happened. And as for the new camera, yeah, I'm actually working on that right now. Someone's actually given me some money. A viewer actually gave me some money recently, which means I can afford. Well, I'm working towards building up enough funds to buy a really good camera, which would perhaps be better, maybe have a steady cam effect and things like that. And I need a new tripod and things like that. There's a whole list of things I need, but maybe my book, when my new book comes out. I tell you what, if you want to help me out financially, buy a copy of my book, buy a copy of Roswell Rising. Then you help me out. You give me some money, and you get something out of it. You get a book to read. So buy a copy of Roswell Rising. That's available now. And then Roswell Revealed will be coming shortly after it. Right, now new video. Awakening of 12 Strands, the premiere. This is a recording of filmed by Miles Johnston, made in 2012, in January. And Craig Walsh has put a comment on there. Ben the Potter, Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order. Yes, thanks, Craig. And Craig also says on the same video, Babylon, in Eno, you rabble on. I don't know what that means. Craig, it's buy me book, you bastards, says Craig. I don't understand what Craig Walsh says half the time. I wish you speak proper English, Craig. Now, did Britain start the World Wars? Comment from Toltec Jive. That's what I name. More inversion. Royal Air Force Bomber Command 60th anniversary. 247 Lancasters, 8 Mosquitoes, and numbers 1 and 8 groups to attack what was believed to be military barracks in Nordhausen. Unfortunately, the barracks housed a large number of concentration camp prisoners and forced workers of many nationalities. The bombing was accurate. Many people in the camp were killed. The exact number was not known. That's a shame. Yeah, I mean, there's several instances like that. For example, the city of Nijmegen was bombed by I think it was the US Army Air Force, because they thought it was Cleves just down the road. So they bombed Nijmegen. Fools they were. Not that, as I said, not that it would make any difference, because I thought the whole thing was immoral anyway, as Nick was pointing out. A good film to watch is Hellstorm, actually. It's not, I say good, it's informative, it's very, very distressing, but it takes apart the whole myth of the good war. What am I doing for time? Right, so GS Evolved says, nice work, Ben. Thanks for the share. I just watched the trailer on video and looks interesting. I'll have to see if the wife is interested. This is on my Awakening of 12 Strands premiere video. Okay. So I actually need to take a little break now anyway, because my voice is getting a bit hoarse. I need a cup of tea. Been doing this for 2 hours. So I'm going to stop now and change the film chip, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Hello again. I'm back. Now then, how many more have I got these? Dazastar says on Awakening of 12 Strands, love your channel, Ben. You're a super bloke. I'll put thanks, Daz. So are you. Smile. Good old Dazastar. He's one of Steve Trueblue's mates. Good guy. Wild Witch Ramblings. So on Awakening of 12 Strands. Wild Witch's Ramblings says, excellent work, Ben. Have queued up the video to watch. I'll say thanks, WW. Hope you like it. Smiley face. There we are. Right, Diego Velasquez says on. Right, now this is not one of my videos, but I'm going to say it anyway because this is he says, Ben Emlyn-Jones believes Bigfoot lives in England and Scotland, shows his credibility, which is none. He also believes that that shill frequency, he also believes like shill frequency, which is this is on one of Kev Baker's videos. So he's taking the mickey out of True Frequency Radio. That Zionist Donald Trump is the saviour against the New World Order, when Trump is just another puppet. I said here, this is completely and utterly. This is complete utter nonsense. I don't know why I kept that. I shouldn't bother replying to that. Right, Anthony Morn says in Sky Watching in Devon, Ben needs to get to grips with that snot. It's my nose again. Yes, my nose. Yes. Helen Duncan. Right, here we go. The most dangerous psychic in the world. This is from Louise. Louise von Montfort says, this is so well researched and informative. Thanks a lot. It's really great to watch. You're welcome, Louise. You're welcome, Louise. Smiley face. So thanks, Louise. Much appreciated. See, I get nice comments as well as nasty ones. Right. UFO Disclosure 2015. Blimey, this is an old one. This is the actual Roswell Slides Revealed video. So what's all this about? Craig Walsh. Right. Or are you going to say something intelligible this time? No, pile shite. He says, that's what you said on the other video, pile shite. Oh, are they painful, Craig? I hope you get over them. I do recommend Preparation H. Just shove them up there, and eventually the little great bits will go back in again. You know, and you'll be able to sit down more comfortably. Right, here we go. Stephen Criddle. I don't know what he's bloody on about. Right, now we come to VidMe. Now we come to videos I put up on VidMe, and this is this is Doffler, as said on Go to Hell, Tony Blair. Put him in the tower, as I said. Just reply to Doffler there. I agree, Doffler. Yes. And he's also put up. Oh, he's replied to my comment on Go to Hell on another. What's this then? Oh, well, he's replied twice there. That doesn't make sense. Hang on. Doffler's. Okay. Doffler keeps replying. He's put about 6 different replies on the same video, and I can only see one of them. But then Doffler's always. I've always found Doffler sometimes hard to follow. Right, Michael Hunt says on the Larry Warren video. Not going into details, but May Pang, Lennon memorabilia, something is going on here and it's very wrong. I can't quite believe some of the things I've read. It makes one doubt the veracity of anything Larry Warren claims he's involved with. Having bought Left at Eastgate and visited Rendlesham Forest, I'm beginning to think it's one big con. Another Travis Walton. Well, first of all, I've got deja vu. First of all, May Pang Lennon memorabilia, I can't quite believe some of the things I've read, he says. Well, Michael, you shouldn't believe what you've read, basically. That's why. It's all male cow excrement from start to finish. That's not what Larry's saying, but what Larry's detractors are saying. I'm beginning to think it's one big con, like another Travis Walton. Well, firstly, Rendlesham Forest I think there's thunder outside, either that or fireworks. Don't know if you can hear that. Well, firstly, Rendlesham Forest is not a big con, and neither is Travis Walton. Travis Walton is the real deal as well. Larry's very close to Travis Walton, thinks very highly of him, and he's quite right. He's quite right to. So just don't believe the hype, okay? Look at both sides of the story. I've done a whole load of articles challenging Larry's detractors, taking apart what they say factually, without getting into rhetoric and retribution and anger. I just take it apart factually, and to be honest, it just doesn't hold water. All right, when you take out the flannel, you take out the personal attacks. There's nothing there. Right. I've got a comment on the Shill Squad. This is a video I did quite a long time ago. I did in 2015. Here we go. Let me just. Okay, I'm just going to. Okay, here we go. Right. Free the Hamster 2. Echo Truths, aka Daniel La Verite, Echo Lies. Hamster pedo sodomite defender Echo Truths, who is also Daniel La Verite exposed. Oh, here we go. She's a shill, he's a shill, A, B and C is a shill, Thomas Sheridan, Lou College, Brian Gerrish, UK Colin. Oh, he's this is just another shill head, basically. Free the Hamster 2 is a shill hound. Someone who does absolutely nothing except think it's their divine duty to rid the truth movement of shills. I'm hunting shills. Nothing matters except shills. Well, the whole point of this video is it's an hour and a half long. I'm trying to count all that bollocks. Deus Ex Machina says in Chief Seattle's letter. I love you, Ben. Oh, thanks, Deus. I love you too. Mwah. Deus Ex Machina says on cancer cures, a reply to Stefan Molyneux. Stefan Molyneux is a public speaker but not a philosopher, and especially if we are considering the narrow definition of philosophy as an academic discipline. He didn't write any philosophical book, and the book which signifies his thinking on truth, tyranny of illusion, is not even psychological analysis. He's a right-wing anarchist with weird solutions, and people like radical stuff when politics gets in the middle. A lot of insights on democracy from Plato's Republic. I think it's book 8 are relevant even to modern democracies to this day. Right, well, that's interesting. I mean, Molyneux has written several books, actually. I mean, there's the Universally Preferable Behaviour, which is a philosophical book, to be fair. He does have weird solutions sometimes. Well, he's caught up. He's very, very fond of Ayn Rand, and if you've ever read Atlas Shrugged, that's a big long book, and there's things like that. But I mean, he has a good line up to a point, but he's not right about everything. He's a public speaker. He's trained as a public speaker, and he's very eloquent. Deus Ex Machina says on Chief Seattle's letter, sending love from the Czech Republic, Ben. It really is deep knowledge, logically and psychologically speaking, with Western culture, which Western culture is missing or trying to fill in, is that collectivist notion which we all know is deep down part of us, buried under all the layers and layers of cultural identities. It's a recognition we ought to care about nature, which is that which exceeds and transcends our cognition and existence. You can interpret it with any naturalistic or supernaturalistic framework. Oh, thanks, Deus Ex Machina. And I've never been to the Czech Republic, but nice you watch from there. I mean, it's the individualism as opposed to collectivism is where Molyneux talks about a lot, because he's influenced by Ayn Rand, who's like an individualist purist, basically. Molyneux sort of has a similar idea. Well, he's kind of like an anarchist. I don't know enough about what Molyneux said in that area. I tend to follow Molyneux's political commentary more than his more general philosophy shows. Well, I've watched some of his. I've watched the Introduction to Philosophy. I've watched his series on Ayn Rand. So I don't know how whether that is true or not in terms of collectivism versus individualism type thing. Whether there should be a balance between the two. I certainly, obviously, total collectivism is terrible, because total collectivism is that you get into the areas of communism, etc., and internationalism stuff, and that's something obviously that's the New World Order basically. And Deus Ex Machina says, "Oh, I'm not sure about what is it? Oh, I'm not sure about the Illuminati and the New World Order. There's no place to hide these societies in, considering our hyper-information and communication-based world. There was never more competitive world, considering all the local and international trade and business and so on." Well, I mean, I do explain several times. I do explain, not in this video, but in some of my others, why I believe the Illuminati exists, why I believe they're real. But so anyway, take a look through that if you like. Fu Man Boobs. Oh, that's all right. I've already replied to Fu Man Boobs on that. Larry Warren again. This is Michael Hunt on the Larry Warren video. And oh, this is from hang on, here we go. Yeah, it's alright. So this is just a conversation that Michael Hunt and Julian Carver and Gary PR were having earlier. I've already commented on that. I've already replied to that. John Baines says on the Larry Warren video, underground tunnels from Rendlesham, RAF Bentwaters and to RAF Woodbridge, connecting tunnels, also connecting Orford Ness. I know they are there. I've seen the tunnels. Have you, John? Well, tell us about it. I mean, email me if you need to privately, but I'd love to know more. Right, Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world. I have had a comment from Darren Beals, who says, so you start out with the premise that she was a genuine psychic medium. You realise that claim calls into question any claims of evidence you present afterwards. No, it doesn't, Darren. Darren, that is not true. You've misunderstood the video completely. I don't start out with that premise. I examine the evidence and I talk about the evidence, especially in the follow-up video, the 2015 one. That's the wartime psychic jail one. I go into that in more detail. Okay, but I go through in a sense that I'm dealing with two issues here. One is herself, a study of her own abilities, Helen Duncan's own abilities and own powers, and secondly, the legal drama that was tied up with her being falsely imprisoned. And so these are two separate issues in a way, but I do cover both in the videos quite comprehensively. I know it's a lot. It's okay. It's a long video. It's it's almost an hour and a half, and also you need to watch the sequel as well, the 2015 one, Wartime Psychic Jailed, in which I go. So altogether, it's over 3 hours. I know it's a long pair of videos, but do please watch it because you'll learn a lot. Right, this is my most recent video now uploaded. Where people start commenting, and I'll just approve the. Let's just approve the stuff. For some reason, some people's perfectly legitimate comments end up in my spam folder. Right, HQ Comms S65 says, crop circles are for everyone on Earth, and no one person has the right to them. I want your pictures of them, Ben. Tell those anal gits to bugger off. Well, I have. Thanks, I do have a link in the description box to the page on Crop Circle Connector where you can actually look at the particular crop circle we were visiting. It's a beautiful circle. It's like series of nested 6-sided circles. Very well done. I don't know if it was man-made or not, but please do check that out. Thanks very much. And Xylomet Outland says, thanks for the info on this one, Ben. You're welcome, X. I'm going to write, you're welcome, Xylomet. Jack Parker says, maybe the aliens, this is on visiting a crop circle, maybe the aliens should send a representative ahead of time to ask consent and compensation in gold for crop circles. I bet people can get used to aliens real fast, even inviting crop circles into their backyards. Well, we could do that. I mean, that's not a bad idea, is it? That would certainly solve the problem of the farmers and things and what they do. Insert Pie Now says, what a dog's dinner of a man-made crop circle, Ben. It's an abortion. A farmer would not waste his time hacking at small parts of it. He would muller it all. Which I don't know. Yeah. You see, as far as it was the obliteration of this particular crop circle. didn't follow the pattern of the others, because what you normally get is basically the whole thing is basically just mowed over, like it's the harvester just goes up and down until like a square border has been cut out completely, so you can't see any of the circle. This wasn't. What happened was the cutting was done by, it was just almost like a random backwards and forwards sort of scribble in a way over the circle. It didn't destroy every single part of the circle. It was kind of like almost just like a scrawl over the circle. So this wasn't obliterated in the normal way, which is unusual. Right. Edwardian Lady says, love these videos. I'll just say thanks, EL. Love these videos. Thanks, Edwardian Lady. Right. Brill Billy says on visiting a crop circle, 2 for the price of 1. A close-up, what's this? At a crop circle formation mutilated by the farmer, and heavy chemtrails over our heads that mutilated our climate. Or we push for the truth, mate. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's as above, so below. Literally, Brill Billy. Right, Awakening on 12 Strands. Michael Park says, where can I buy the book from? Well, Michael, it's available on Amazon. He's talking about Roswell Rising now. You can get it on Amazon. I put links on my website to that. You can get it at all good bookshops. Available at all good bookshops now. If you go in and it's not stocked, then it's not a good bookshop, and never shop there again. So I hope you enjoyed Roswell Rising when you read it. Daniel the Spaniel says on crop circles, invest in a cheap drone. Your videos will benefit greatly. Yeah, I mean, is there such thing as a cheap? Yeah, I could do, couldn't I? You can get them for a couple of £100. Well, I could ask Matthew Williams to help me out. I mean, he's got like a much more sophisticated one. He's very good at flying it as well. I'll see. I'll maybe go on a joint trip with Matthew and see if maybe that would help. Actually, the idea about the Nottinghamshire, what you said about the Nottinghamshire Roswell is an excellent idea, actually. Wayne R says, this is on the crop circles video. Why can't you take pictures? No one actually owns a crop circle, so how the hell can they say it's copyright? I love to meet some of these job worths in person. You must have patience for saying tough. Well, Wayne, you can take pictures of the crop circle. In fact, I include some of my own stills in the titles of the video. My own stills on the crop circle, but it's just the photography, the aerial photography in particular, is very often, it's often made commercial. So that's why. Okay, that's why it is. GS Evolve says on the crop circle video, very cool, Ben. I have to admit, while you were walking through the barley field aisle, I was waiting for something to cross the path through the swaying barley. I can see why you like the location. Beautiful. Great share, Ben. Cheers. Thanks, GS. Waiting for something to cross the path. What do you mean, like an alien spacecraft or something? Right, Contacts Times said, oh, that's on Sky Watching Devon. I've done that, Ben. I've done that. Crop Circle Art R7 1 says on my crop circle video, a real friend wouldn't mind if you used a photo of his. Matthew has done a 180 and now is now working with the people he once seen to hate in his videos. All the leading researchers, websites, filmmakers are a bunch of liars and get real nasty when you confront them with the truth. The likelihood all CCs are man-made in my mind, and 99.9% probability. All right, well, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with that, your view. Not all crop circles are man-made. The majority are. Not all of them are. And what I said about Matthew Williams, actually, I sort of took the mickey out of him a bit. I was just a joke. All right, I was just having a laugh with them. All right, I wasn't serious. You know, he's not going, oh, Benny, will leave my photos alone, boy? Or, you know, he's not that bad. I was taking the mickey. So he takes the mickey out of me as well. So, right, Julian Carver says on the crop circle video, nice video, Ben. How are we doing for time? Yeah. Yes, also love to be at Uffington White Horse. I can see the horse from my front door as I'm in the village just down the road. I love living in this ancient area. I must admit, I didn't know about that particular circle. We'll have a look later today if it's even still there. Well, Julian, that's right. Yeah, because you can see Harwell, so I'm guessing, you know, you're in Longcott, so that's right, yeah. So you can actually see the White Horse. That's a lovely view. You get some lovely views around there. It's really God's own country, that is. Now, Mysterious says on, there's a conversation here between Mysterious, Mr. Gyro, and Bardi Films. I don't understand how anyone can claim copyright over a crop circle photograph. I suppose the farmer, if it's their land, but even so, it's no different to photographing street art. Well, yeah, I see what you mean. I think it's because crop circle photography is it was a bit of a knack to it. I mean, especially if you're in a fast-moving light aircraft and you're flying low, you have to be able to shoot quick. You have to get the exposure right, things like that. But technically, I mean, it is still copyright to the copyright owner of, say, Lucy Pringle and Matthew Williams. They all, you know, Alexander, the Alexanders and things like that. And Mr. Gyro said, if you were to photograph street art, you own the copyright of the photograph you've taken. That's true, technically. And Mysterious says, yes, I misunderstood what Ben was saying. I think you were misunderstanding that the copyright somehow belongs to the farmer or something. No, it belongs to the photographer. And Bardi Films says, hi Ben, I enjoyed watching your crop circle encounter. Thanks, Bardi Films. Bardi Films actually designed the HPANWO TV logo that you see in the beginning and closing shots of the film. So that's really good of Bardi Films. Mr. Gyro and Mr. Gyro says, feel free to use our image. Thanks, Mr. Gyro. That's really nice of you. Fuman Boobs says, who did these circles? I like the ones where they do a picture of a face. The effort they must put into these takes dedication, pretty thorough. Well, yeah, I mean, they do, some of them are really complicated, like the one with the face. And there's like an alien face as well, this disc which has an ASCII code on it, and it was by this Chill Bolton radio telescope. See, that one, I do believe, did not appear, is not man-made. It was not created using the methods man-made crop circles makers use. That is the board and the roller and things like that. I'm not saying it was definitely made by aliens, but it was not created in that way. I mean, there's a lot of discussions, and there's a lot of evidence being collected by people like David Caton. You know, they find things like iron microspheres in the soil. I mean, the thing is, the soil, and I mean, there's the Levengood study, and David Caton both discovered that the crops and the soil have been subjected to enormous heat. Thousands of degrees would be necessary to create things like these iron microspheres in the soil. It's very similar to what Dr. Judy Wood actually discovered about 9/11. The thing, this is where it jointly links to Dr. Judy Wood as well, because this couldn't have been created through heat, even though these are heat-like effects. Because if you really subjected that much heat to that area, then it would set the entire field on fire. You'd have a massive conflagration of the entire field, all the crops. So something much more weird is going on. It's very similar to what happened on 9/11. When the World Trade Center was destroyed, as Dr. Judy Wood has shown. Right, James, here we go, right. James G, on visiting a crop circle, this is this video now, coming in at the end now. This stuff is from the New World Order, FBI, CIA, and they're not part of the compartmentalization. They have created sophisticated drones which emit lasers controlled by a computer, pop in the design, and send out the drones, presto, an overnight crop circle. Well, no, I've explained. I mean, a laser, a very high-powered laser, can actually create the heat in the soil. But as I've explained, it can't be done by a laser. A directed energy in the form of like a laser beam, electromagnetic radiation, as I said, that amount of heat would start a massive fire. So that's not whatever kind of directed energy device is being used, if they are indeed using a directed energy device, cannot be based on a conventional laser or anything like that. Electromagnetic radiation. It has to be something more sophisticated. It has to be something based maybe on the Hutchison effect. Read Dr. Judy Wood's book, Where Did the Towers Go, for details. Right, done that one. Right, oh, here we go, forget that. Right, Lord Krithik. This is on the Larry Warren video. Brought to you by Potato Vision 3000, and he's put a timestamp on there. I think he's making some kind of I'm not going to look at the bloody timestamp, what he's on about. I think he's making some sort of stupid joke. He said this is the guy who said earlier on, well, it never happened anyway, referring to the Rendlesham Forest incident. So I don't take people like that seriously if he's going to say that, because if he's just going to make that assertion and not even explain why should I take him seriously? Right, Full Swing says on this video, Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world. Duncan was a liar and a fraud, plain and simple, same with every other psychic medium. And he or she includes a link to Helen Duncan's Wikipedia page. Oh, what? How do I detox from this? This nonsense. Firstly, what we have here. Helen Duncan was a liar and a fraud, right? Well, those are two very serious accusations. You say she's a liar and a fraud, so you make this assertion, and then you don't explain why. You don't explain why she was a liar and a fraud. Plain and simple. If it's plain and simple, say why, and you don't. Same as every other psychic medium, right? So here's another assertion. They're all plain and simple, they're all frauds, and you don't explain why. You don't even address any of the evidence I presented in the film. And then you link to Helen Duncan's Wikipedia page, which, as I explained in the film, is a piece of propaganda. It's very, very misleading. I know, because I edited the Wikipedia page to try and make it more accurate. I did it properly, according to the Wikipedia rules. I read the rules very carefully, and it was edited back within the hour. So you're a fool, Full Swing. You're a moron. Shut up. Right, Cool Video says Dr. Reed on Dr. Jonathan Reed's video. I'll just say thanks. But this is hang on. Who is this person? It's like a blank account. It's not Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Jonathan Reed's original YouTube, the Odyssey Linker YouTube channel. I think it's still there, but it's just gone inactive. Right, McDame W says, I can't point the camera. Oh, this is when I can point the camera anywhere I like. Good day, lol, you bastard. Thanks for the cool video, though. You're welcome, Madam W. This was, yeah, the people in the house where I filmed in the last scene. They didn't like me filming outside their house, but I was filming on a public highway. I can film anywhere I bloody well like, basically. They got no right to stop me. No right at all. Right, hold on, here we go. Here we go. Right, I'll just move. I just had a message from someone. I'm just going to move to another folder. Right, now we come on to. Now we're almost at the end. Now these are comments that have. These are comments that have been placed on the video since I started putting out these notices. So these are comments. These are comments that are replies to the tags I've been putting on. And 69 Phuket says, oh no, not again. Don't bother replying, Ben. It isn't worth it. Well, too late. I have, Phuket. I won't next time if you don't like. Right. Stephen Criddle again. Okay, nice one. Check my latest vids. I just put, okay, will do. He's put an awful lot of... Stephen Criddle has got an awful lot of information. I'm not sure I can get through it all. Hi Ben, oh right, here's another one. The Argyle Pub ASAP collection, that's Stephen Criddle again. And then finally, I subbed to send a command on my video. This is from Dr. Reed on Dr. Jonathan Reed's video. I subbed to send a command on my video. Awesome. I'll just put cheers. I'm not sure quite what they mean, but I'll just put cheers. Right, and that's the end of the comments. That's all of them. That's done. Well, thank you very much everyone for all your comments. It's much appreciated. Obviously I'm going to carry on making some more videos, and obviously I'll get some more comments, and when I get some more comments I'll make another comments reply video, even though some of you like what Phuket just said didn't want to reply specifically. If you don't want to reply, just I won't reply. Okay, just let me know and I won't reply. Now I've got to talk about the little bit of notice for the channel. I'm going to obviously I'm going to make some more videos. I've got plans for a lot more videos. My output might slow down somewhat because I'm writing my novel. I'm writing what will reveal for the next couple of months. So this is not going to, it's not going to be a hiatus. I'm not going to stop making videos. I've got plans for some more videos coming up actually, but there may be a slight lull in my output. or somewhat, because I'm writing, okay, and that takes up a lot of time. Now this is not, this is this is only going to be for a couple of months while I'm writing the novel. I believe once I get going with the novel, I can finish it within maybe, with Roswell Rising, it was like 2 to 3 months once I got going. This will be hopefully be similar, maybe longer. I'm not sure. Depends how it goes. But it's just a simple question of workload. I don't have time to do it all. So if my upload rate drops a little bit, that's why. It's not because I'm losing interest. It's not because I'm going to stop. It's simply because I don't have the time because of writing the book. Okay, so I hope you appreciate that. But I do have more plans coming. I won't reveal what plans I have, but I'm going to do a couple of things. Let me just see if I can tell you about anything I'm doing. Yeah, I don't think I've got there'll be a video in the next couple of weeks, which is, I won't tell you what it is, but there's something I'm working on. Okay, so it may be another week or so before you get another video, just because I'm going to really try and write now. I'm going to try and do some writing. But thanks for all your comments, and thank you very much for watching, all of you. Hope you've enjoyed this video. See you on the next one. Hospital Reporters, Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order.